Hello, Sidra. Hello, Leah. How Shaldoren? That's because I just started. I'm tired today, but I'm okay. Oh, I have a question. I want to see if you guys can see. Can you guys? I'm going to try to share my screen and I want to see if you guys can actually hear anything now. I tried to change some new settings and I'm hoping that you can actually hear the stuff when I share the screen. So let me see if that works now. That. So tell me if you guys can hear this or not. Oh, yay. You can hear it now. Good. That's good. I'm glad I got that fixed. That was my. I did a stream yesterday where I just played some drums for a while to get some exercise and try to feel better. Hello, Mohammed Bashir. Yes, Eva, I'm a drummer and a teacher. So maybe I'll play some of that later. You know, because it's crazy. I don't know. I honestly don't know what you guys can see. I wish I knew. I mean, maybe I guess I can check it here. Let me see. Let me try that again. I want to see what happens when I open up my second account. Is that my second account? Yeah, it is. Okay, good. Well, where's my live stream? All right, so now I can see what I see. Now let me see. How does it look? The quality looks pretty good. Yeah, it's crazy because when I Hello Talk does have these recorded for me, only for the host. But when I go to watch them, the quality is just terrible. So I don't know how the quality is for you guys. But it looks pretty good right now. What I'm looking at on my second account on my iPad here, it looks like it's actually pretty good quality. So I'm glad that at least the quality looks better when you watch. Yeah. So, okay. Well, that's answered. At least that part is answered. Yes, I'm tired. I didn't sleep very well, but it happens. Let me turn this light. It's too bright. There, that's better. All right. Hello, World Metrics Quest. Hello, Prabhu. Eva, you're a vocalist. And what kind of singing do you do, Eva? Hello, Akane. and Nelzilers. I'm fine. Yes, I'm a musician. So, welcome, guys. Yeah, I'm tired, so I don't have a lot planned. I was too tired to make anything today. So, I have some notes, some old notes that I used to use for teaching that I could go over if you want me to. It's about, it's a little bit about etymology, kind of. It's just about how many words that are in English that come from Spanish and how many words come from German and French and Italian. And there are many others too. Hebrew. Yeah, anyway. Oh, so tired. Just tired, guys. I'm just tired. I didn't sleep well. Woke up at about 4 in the morning. You're having trouble with past simple and past continuous. Well, past tense is all of them. Past simple is just talking about things that you did in the past and they're over. So there's only one time period, Sidra. Okay? But let me see if I still have that link. So here's what you should think about for past continuous. You should think that it's something that started in the past, but then something stopped it before now. Okay, so if you said something like, this is a good example here. She was leaving her apartment when she heard the thunderstorm. So she was leaving her apartment, but then she heard a thunderstorm, right? Or they were sleeping peacefully until the alarm rang. Okay. So what you need to do, and this is true for all of these things, is you just need to get some worksheets and you need to do a lot of them. Okay. You know, things like I was cooking dinner. That's a very simple example. I was cooking dinner. Well, then what happened? Okay. I was listening to music. So that's in the past, but then it implies something happened. I was cooking dinner, but then something. They were playing soccer, but then it started raining. We were enjoying the program thoroughly when my mom called. Something like that. Okay, so it's something that started in the past, but then something interrupted it or stopped it. If I say it was snowing yesterday, that implies that it did snow, but then it stopped at some point, right? They were eating at a restaurant. I was studying last night, but, right? Okay. Hello, Juan Jose and Adele. Hello. in YouTube over here. Don't forget, you guys can join my YouTube channel. It's right there. And there's no time limit on my YouTube channel. So if you go over there, you can stay and chat as much as you want. Okay? Am I just famished? You mean famished means hungry? No, I ate some breakfast. I'm fine. Hello, Tutankhaten. Or I think it would be Tultang Holtang. I don't know how to pronounce your name. That's an interesting name. Well, I'll just say bonjour. Yeah, I need to sleep, but I just can't. I don't sleep well. So, what can you do? So now I have my big cup of coffee to get me awake. Hello, Tanya and Christian. Hello. Thank you, Spider Cat, for the gifts. Keshta wants me to think about or talk about fear of nerves and fear and nervousness when you speak to others. Well, Keshta, that's different for every person. You know, some people are more afraid than others. But it's pretty simple, really. If you want to learn a language, it's the same as learning an instrument, a musical instrument. And when you learn a musical instrument, in the beginning, you don't sound very good and you feel not, like you're not very good, so you're nervous to play in front of people. And yes, it means you need a lot more practice, but it also means that part of that practice is just doing more performances. Okay? So what that means is language is a performance. I say it many, many times. Language is a performance, language is a performance, language is a performance. You are a performer. It's natural to have performance anxiety as any kind of performer. But the only way to get through it is to do it again and again and again. So I like to think of it kind of like going through a dark tunnel. If you see a dark tunnel and you cannot see the end, you can only see the dark tunnel. When you walk into the dark tunnel, you're very nervous and you're very scared because you're like, oh, geez, is this going to end? This is all black and dark. But if you keep walking, then way down there you see that little bit of light. And you know that there's an end. And then you walk further and the light gets bigger, brighter. And you walk further and the light gets brighter again. The more you do it, the more light you see, the easier it gets until you're all the way through the tunnel. Okay? So, in the beginning, when you do anything new, it's uncomfortable. And the only way to become comfortable is to just keep doing it until you are. Okay? Okay, Keshta? Hello, Fluke. Okay, let's see. I know Hello Talk user from Somalia, you want to come on the stage, give me a minute. You want to practice your accent. What do I recommend? Christian, when you say you want to practice your accent, I assume that means you want to improve your accent. And that's fine, Christian, but so many people have the wrong idea about their accent. All right? In reality, no one cares what accent you have from anywhere in the world. You can speak English perfectly well with any accent in the world. What does matter is if that accent is clear enough to be understood. So many of you have a goal that you want to sound exactly like me. And you think that your English is only perfect if you sound like me. That's just not true. But here's the thing, that will take you about 10 years. Okay, 5 to 10 years to get an accent exactly like mine. Okay, but you can get an accent that's perfectly clear within 1 year. Okay, 1 year. So what that means is you need to make a list on a piece of paper across the top of the paper of 10 words that are difficult for you to say in English. And then look at those words and figure out what's the problem. Why is this word hard for me? Which sound or sounds are difficult for me? And then do a little research and see if you can find as many other words that have that same sound and write them in columns, right? So you have 10 words across the top, and now you're going to write a column with a list of words that have a similar difficult sound for you. Fold that piece of paper up and put it in your pocket, and now you have what I call your target accent improvement list. Okay? Can I say how to start talking to native speakers? Just say hello. In Spider-Cat, it's just like you just say, hi, my name is Spider-Cat. Nice to meet you. It's not that hard, guys. It really isn't. You know, let's be real. There is nothing scary about talking to another person. There is nothing scary about talking to another person. It's just another person. What are you so afraid of? There are no lions. There are no tigers. There are no bears. There are no sharks. Relax. Relax. Okay? Hello, Lucky Happy Me. I'm glad you're back. Okay, let's see. I'm going to try to get this user up if I can. Where are they? See, you weren't patient, so you left. Or did you? Let me see. Yeah, see, I have no patience for that kind of thing. I have no patience for people who have no patience. You come into my room and within 5 seconds you say, can I talk to you? And then when I don't talk to you immediately, you leave? Yeah, no. Nope. You don't know me. No. No, that's not how things are done. Hello, Miguel. Good to see you again, my friend. How are you this morning? And hello, Asad Beck. I'm okay this morning. I'm just really tired again. Okay. Thank you very much, Islam. Good to see you. Thank God for coffee. Well, would anyone like to come on my stage? Oh, there's one. Rama Kesh wants to come talk to me. Let's talk to Rama. Hello, Rama. How are
Hello.
you?
Hi. What's the time there?
The time here
Actually,
is 9:26 a.m.
good morning.
Good morning, good evening to you, I think. Good afternoon, good evening.
No, good evening. Good evening.
Rama, what can I
Yeah.
do for you today? Do you have a question for me or anything I can help you with?
Yeah. First question. What's your name?
Teacher Mark.
Oh, thank you. Thank
You're
you, teacher
welcome.
Mark. And yeah, second question is Uh, it's a very burden in my head when I talk to someone in the English or maybe start conversation with anyone. Sometimes it is very difficult to understand, and sometimes it's very difficult to explain.
Uh,
It's a very
s-
big problem
okay.
like that.
So who are you trying to talk to?
Uh, Actually, Mark, I am working in a IT industry. Even some business person are from the USA, maybe for the New
Okay,
Jersey.
so
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 it's
you're
very difficult
having
to
video
understand.
calls or audio calls, right?
It's a audio call. There is no any video call.
Okay. So here's what I tell everybody, if you're using English at work, then what you need to do is ask permission if you can record the calls for two reasons. Okay. First reason you should tell them is, hey, if it would be okay, can I record these calls? One, because my English is not that good and I want to make sure there's no problem with what we agree about or what we talk about. And two, because it will let me practice better to listen to your accent and your English. So that way, you have something to listen to that's not just some guy from YouTube or some guy, another American, because you need to listen to that guy. He's the guy you're talking to regularly, right? So if you can
Yes.
do that, and also, Rama, you could just ask them, don't be afraid to tell people, hey, if it's okay, can you try to speak a little bit more slowly? Or can you try to speak a little bit more clearly? The truth is, most native speakers of any language don't pay attention to that, whatever
Mm.
language they're speaking. They don't really try to speak very, very clearly. Nobody really focuses on that unless it's part of your job, like mine. So, the
Yes.
first thing you can do is just say, hey, if it's okay, can you try to speak a little more slowly or clearly? That would help me a lot. And I'm really working on my English, and so that would help me a lot. And then two, you can ask them, please, may I record these calls because because my English is not as good. I would like to have a record just in case there's any miscommunication, and then we can find out what the problem was. All right, and two or three, sorry. Now you have something to practice listening to hear that exact person with that exact voice, and then you'll have a really good chance of being able to improve your listening of them. Okay?
Yes, it's correct, Mark. It's the first problem is the listening. Listening should be correct, and if I understand well, then I can answer accordingly.
Right.
Sometimes what happened like that, like some things I understand well, accordingly I reply,
Mm-hmm.
and sometime not able to understand what that person is saying or explaining.
Well, it depends on their accent. It depends on their clarity. It depends on the way they use slang words or how formal their language is. There are so many things that go into it. And again, the best thing you can do is try to record them so that you can practice that exact person's listening, the listening to them, not just somebody. And again, I tell this to anybody who's using English at work. If English is not your first language and you're having any kind of trouble, then you should try to ask permission to record any video calls or audio calls and tell them why. Tell them exactly why. Because they should want to do that too. Because maybe there will be a miscommunication. But if you have a recording, now you can go back and check the tape. That's what we call it. Check the tape, see what happened. Maybe, oh, I see now. You said this and I thought you said this, but I misunderstood. And so now we can understand each other better. I'm sorry that I had that misunderstanding. And they're working with you, and that's their problem. I'm sorry, but the way I see it is if you want to work with international people then that means their language might not be English, and you have to be patient with them, and you have to be willing to let them, have a little bit of what we call leeway, a little room, so everything's not so exact, right? And so if you record everything, then you have a lot more. Well, you're a lot safer in what you do. Okay.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
as you said that it's just like practice with the audio and just getting a more familiarity with the word, how his person is pronouncing or entering the words.
And you know what? It's if you can, sometimes you should ask if you can do video calls, because if you can see their mouths, then maybe you can read, you can understand them better too. If you can see their mouths and their body language. Body language is important to speaking. So sometimes if there's ever a possibility, you can ask, "Hey, can we have a video call?" All right? Because just your body language and the way you move your mouth can also really help. Okay? And then Rama, I'm going to also give you a tip that I give everybody, but especially people from China and from a lot of people in Asia. English is a big mouth language. And many of the languages in Asia are actually small mouth languages. Your mouth does not move very much. But if you look at me, look how much my mouth moves, and that's why it's so clear. So when you practice your English, I want you to start practicing your English vowels, okay? And practice them really big. A, E, I, O, U. A, E, I, O, U. A, E, I, I. If you're not moving your mouth very much, they're going to have a hard time understanding you too. And it's just because the mouth movements. Do you speak Hindi or Tamil? Hindi. I see Hindi. Yeah.
Hindi, Hindi. I
Right.
can speak Hindi.
So again, both Hindi and Tamil, the mouth is very small when you move, when you speak. It's not very big. It doesn't move very much at all, really. So that's why when you speak English, you're still using the same mouth movements from Hindi. And that means your mouth doesn't move very much like this. And if your mouth is not moving very much, then it's less clear. We have a word in English. The word is mumble. The word is mumble. To mumble means that you're not moving your mouth very much, and so your speaking is not very clear. Like this. If I say, "Hello, Rama, it's nice to meet you. How are you doing today?" It's not very clear because my mouth is not moving very much at all. But if I move my mouth like this, then now it's very, very clear, right? So if mumbling means that it's not clear because you're not moving your mouth very much, then that means that if you over exaggerate your mouth movements like I do, it will be much more clear. Okay?
Yeah, I think in this way, my speaking will be slow motion, right? When I use
Well,
mouth
yes,
speaker.
but that's okay because language has no speed. Some people think that fast language is the only good language, but I'm not speaking very fast.
Yeah, I'm agree
Okay,
with you.
and also I like to think about it more like music. Okay, is fast music the only good music? No. Slow music is
Even
good, and medium music is good, and fast music is good. But they all have a place. They all have a time and a place, right? So if your child is running into the street, then you might speak very quickly. "Hey, get out of the street," right? But if you're talking to someone in another language, then maybe you'll speak more slowly. And sometimes we yell like this, and sometimes we talk like this. Language is dynamic. So forget about the idea that fast is good. It's not
no,
true.
no, no. Even my focus is not on like speed. My focus is only when I talk someone, he should be clear to them,
Yeah.
and when I yeah, that should be clear. When I like they speak to me, that should be clear to me as well. what
That's
they are
right.
saying.
Yeah, language, put it this way, it's just about control. You don't want speed, you want control. Okay? Control of your mouth at any speed. And again, this is why learning from me is interesting because I'm a drummer. And this is how drummers do it. Okay? Drummers have to learn how to play slow, medium, fast, loud, soft, all with control of your muscles, right? So I'm teaching you the same skills that we use in music. It's not just drummers, all musicians must learn how to play every speed and every volume with complete control. And that means to be relaxed when you do it. And you must know when it's appropriate and when it's not appropriate, right? So there are some times when it's better to speak more slowly. And I tell everyone, they ask me often, do you always speak this slowly? No, I don't. But I speak like this anytime I want people to really listen to me.
Yeah,
Okay?
sometimes it depends on situation. Like
Yeah,
as
it
you
does. That's right. It
already
depends on the
give example
situation.
of
Yeah,
one child, right? One kid.
definitely. Yeah, yeah. So Rama, that's my advice to you is try to record the calls and try to see if you can practice listening to them and then, also tell them that you're working on your clarity too because they probably have the same feeling. They probably have people are afraid to admit it. They're afraid to say, well, I have a hard time understanding him sometimes. So they won't say it. But if you say it first, if you say, well, look, I'm doing my best, but I'm having a hard time understanding you sometimes. It's not your fault. It's my fault. And I'm trying to improve. So can I record these because then I can listen to your voice and I can practice listening? That means, I don't know what that means. What just happened?
And do the
Whoa,
practice.
I don't know what just happened. Something just, I think I lost my internet for a second. I don't know what happened. Anyway, yeah, so if you admit it first, that you're working on it, and then maybe they'll say, oh, that's great. And, I'll try to be more clear and I'll try to slow down. It's okay to say those things. In my opinion, it doesn't make you worse. It makes you better. The thing that makes you worse is if you have trouble either listening or speaking and you won't admit it, then there's no solution to the problem. But if you admit it and you try to work together on it, then there is a solution. Okay?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. But again,
Correct.
people are always afraid to admit because they think if they say something, it means that they're bad or something, No. It's like a musical instrument. It takes practice, it takes time, and you have to be willing to admit that you're not as good to get good.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is okay if we accept what problem we are facing, and if we accept, then we can improve that one as well.
That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah. So Rama, thank you for coming on my stage. By the way, where are you? You're in India where? What city?
Uh, right now I'm in Hyderabad.
Hyderabad. Okay.
Do you know? Yeah, Hyderabad. Yeah. And I'm here only for only next month. And basically, I from Chandigarh.
Okay. All right.
Do you know Chandigarh?
I'm sorry?
Do you know Chandigarh?
Yeah, I've heard of it. Yeah, I've never been there, but I've heard of it.
Chandigarh or
Yeah.
Delhi? Maybe Delhi.
Yeah, near Delhi. Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, nearby Delhi. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So
thank
your
you for
channel is like Delhi. Sorry,
No,
you
go
hold the
ahead.
channel Delhi.
One more time.
I'm asking about your channel. It's you host Delhi.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Yeah.
Okay, and what is the timing?
Well, I've been on right now for about 35 minutes. So I started about 35 minutes ago, and that's usually about the time I start for you. Okay, so I started about 30 minutes ago. So almost every morning here, I usually start around 9 a.m., 9:30 a.m. New York City time, Eastern Standard Time. So,
Okay,
but for you, what time is it there?
it's 8:12 p.m.
It's 8 what?
8:12.
8:12. Okay, so then I started about 30 minutes before. Yeah, so 7
It's just
7:15.
around 7:30.
Yeah,
7:30 p.m.
7:30, something like that. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, I'll try
Yeah,
a daily
follow and
basis.
come back and see me again, okay?
Okay, thank you so much,
You're welcome.
Mark. Thank
You're
you.
welcome, my friend. Take care.
Uh,
Okay, did I miss any comments? I'm drinking coffee, everyone, of course. Thank you for Islam he's my buddy and he's posting my YouTube channel there in the chat. So if you guys want to follow my YouTube, that's it. That is my YouTube channel that he's posting there. Let me get back to my YouTube people here, by the way. Let's see. Yeah, as Sadbek, I have a bit of a problem with insomnia recently. Some health issues going on, but what can you do? You know, I'm doing the best I can. Hello, Nakati. Listening to my mother tongue is distracting my English speaking and thinking. What do you mean by that, simple English? Can I explain the word fringe? Hello, Alex. The word fringe, well, the easiest way to think about it is the word fringe, it comes from clothing or blankets. Like on the edge of a blanket, sometimes they have fringe. So I don't know if I have anything to demonstrate that here. Let me see. I might have a towel. Let me see. Well, no, I don't. But the fringe means the outside edge of something, okay? The fringe of something. And now we use that to apply to things theoretically or metaphorically. So if you're part of a fringe group, it means you're part of a group kind of that's outside the norm, not common, not somehow unique or somehow it usually has somewhat of a negative connotation to it. When you say you're in the fringe, most people usually think that means that it's kind of not generally accepted by most people. Okay, a fringe group is a group that believes things or does things that generally people don't agree with or do. Usually, okay? Hello, Erica. Since when did I start teaching on Hello Talk and YouTube? I started teaching on Hello Talk. I've been on Hello Talk for about 10 years, totally. I started live streaming about 2 years ago, a little more than 2 years ago, I think. And I started my YouTube channel a while ago, but it was really complicated at first because I didn't know what I was doing. And there was so much editing to do and everything, and I just didn't have time. There was no time in the day for me to do the videos and edit them and post them. It took forever. But this way, now when I do it this way, I have live streams. I started doing this in January, so not that long ago. And yeah, so now every Hello Talk stream I do here is also on YouTube live at the same time. Okay? Simple English says, when I practice my English and I'm in the mood to think in English all the time, but I listen to my mother tongue because I don't live in an English-speaking country, this process distracts me. It can, right, I understand. But that's, again, why you have to create an English environment in your mind. And if you feel comfortable with the language in your mind, then you will feel that you have that environment. I know it can be hard, but it's good concentration practice for you. Okay, when you hear another language all around you all the time, trying to think in that. Or okay, let me give you a very simple solution. Go someplace where there's no one around that is talking to you directly. So go to the park. You'll hear your mother tongue around you, but because those people are not directly talking to you, you can block them out a little bit more easily and think in English. All right? So go someplace where you're not so affected by it. Okay? Erica, yeah, I've been here for a long while. I was one of the first live streamers that they asked to do it. I was in the first group of people that they started doing this with. I don't know how many are still left from that first group. I think maybe a couple. I didn't mean to do that. Okay, let me see. Can I interpret the word pervert? Well, there's two words. There's two ways to use that word. One is a verb and one is a noun. To pervert something means to make something. Let me think of the best way to put it. To change something in a way that people think is very, very wrong, or morally unacceptable, or yeah. So, but the other word that's related to it is the noun, which is to be a pervert, which means to be someone who is. It usually means someone who's creepy and weird about girls. Okay, so either they like. Maybe they're just too forward and they're too flirtatious all the time. Or maybe they're too forward and flirtatious with girls that are way too young. That would be a pervert. Okay? Hello, Carolina. Thank you for the gifts, everyone. David and Sahiti. Okay, I'm sorry. I missed a couple people who are waiting to talk to me. I just was trying to make sure I didn't miss any comments. Hello, Mustafa. Thank you for coming, and I'm glad we were able to sort out our differences yesterday. Thank you for understanding. Let me talk to Sahiti, and then I'll try to talk to a couple other people. Hello, Sahiti.
Hello.
How are you? Namaste.
I'm good. Namaste. Hi.
What can I do for you today?
Just that I don't get to speak to native speakers, so yeah, I just thought maybe, practice a bit.
Okay. Well, what would you like to talk about?
In general, like I'm a doctor, I get to speak to many people, so yeah, it's quite easy. But when you speak to native speakers, the slang and the accent is really different from what we speak in India. So it gets pretty difficult sometimes to really understand what they're really speaking. Especially, I feel Australian language is really fast. I really can't get it,
Yeah.
They speak really, really fast.
It depends on which Australian, but Australians do have. There's another aspect of Australian English. They have a lot of slang. They have a lot of slang.
That you see, yeah, that you get to see on the TV, or maybe when some World Cup is going on, some Australian players are speaking. You try to understand what they're trying to say. It's
Yeah.
quite difficult,
Right. Yeah.
you
I
know,
mean, but the thing
observe a
is,
lot.
Sahiti, even I can't understand that because that's their local slang. There's same thing with British English. There are some areas of London, where they have like the Cockney accent in London, where they have not only do they have a very thick accent, but they also have so much local slang that you're never going to know because you don't live there. And so, and they use it so much that it's really hard to understand. In those cases, I honestly think the burden is mostly on them. Let's put it this way. It's a two-way street when you see a doctor, okay? If I see a doctor in another country, and I lived in Taiwan for 4 years, and so I know exactly what it's like to go to a doctor who doesn't speak English as their first language. That means that the burden's not only on them, it's on you too, that they have to try to speak like a human being, and not use too much slang. And, now it's difficult sometimes if you're really sick, then you just speak the way you naturally do, and you'd feel too bad to be concerned about your language. So that is a concern sometimes. But if somebody comes in with a minor problem, they should do the best they can to speak well. That's not a weird thing to say. This is called code switching. Maybe you've heard of it. Code switching means that you're supposed to change your language depending on where you are. So I
I get
speak
this.
this way now because I'm teaching. But when I hang out with my band, I don't talk like this with them. We speak differently, right? That's code switching. But I know that. And if I'm in school, I don't use a bunch of slang when I'm in school. When I'm talking to my professor, I don't use a bunch of slang. It's inappropriate. That's the way I was raised. Now, there are some kids and some younger people who just think, no, you're supposed to listen to my language and my language. No, I'm sorry, but that's just not the way the world works. I don't know why this keeps coming up, this weird thing. I need to take a picture of that next time. Sorry, Sahiti. I don't know what that is. There's some kind of a problem with Hello Talk. But anyway, okay. So in your case, it's a little bit harder because you have to deal with random people who come in. And that means that their language is going to be different, every time.
My personally, I want to shift to other countries, so that time my English, even though they can understand me, for me to understand them, it could be quite difficult. If you're speaking really fast, I have to get used of hearing to native speakers a lot, so that I can treat them properly. It can be a problem in future if
Yeah, I understand. Well,
it can be difficult.
I'm going to give you the recommendation that I usually give in this case, and it's not usually. Sometimes people are a little confused by it, but the truth is that in the beginning, you're not going to understand everyone. Okay, learning a language is like learning a musical instrument, and when you learn a musical instrument, they don't tell you to listen to everybody in the world who plays that instrument. They tell you to listen to the best and then use them as your models, right? So you need to do the same thing in the beginning. Find the people who speak really well and focus on listening to them, right? So watch TED Talks. TED Talks are great. Almost all those speakers are really, really good, right? Or find other things like that, okay? Because, if you just go to YouTube, right, you're just talking about the random masses. Now, eventually, you do need to test yourself in that way. But in the beginning, you should start with people who speak well and then work your way down. Work your way down to the lower, more common language, okay? But lots of people, when they say, well, I don't understand these people on YouTube, well, it's maybe because they don't speak well. It's really simple. It's not a hard thing to say. there are lots of people in this, in my country who don't really speak that well. It's not that I'm trying to put them down. It's that you need to understand this is the way language works everywhere in the world. Once you learn a language, once you learn a language formally, after you learn the formal way, then you forget about that and you just start using it in your natural environment the way you would. And that's when it changes a lot. And you're relaxed and you're not worried about your language. No one is thinking about their language most of the time. I would say, most people are just not even thinking about, is it clear? Am I speaking too fast? Is my accent too thick? They just don't consider those things. And I speak Chinese, and the same thing is true when I listen to Chinese speakers. If they speak clearly and they don't speak too fast, I can understand them perfectly. But sometimes they hear my Chinese and they think, oh, his Chinese is really good. And then they just go off to the races like blah, 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 so fast and I can't understand anything. And I have to tell them, hey, slow down, and speak clearly, please. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think we need to get rid of this idea that language needs to be perfect. I think we need to get rid of that idea. I don't like it because, it doesn't need to be perfect, but it does need to be clear, right? And I also want to say that again, everyone in the world, no matter what language you speak, slow down. Slow down. There's no good reason to always speak so fast if you want to be taken seriously. That's the way I say it. And this is what I tell people. The faster you speak, the less meaning your words have. The slower you speak, the more meaning your words have. Look what I just did there.
Sometimes I feel if you want to be understood, you have to speak slow so that others get it.
That's exactly
your message
right.
should be received.
That's exactly
But nobody has the time for it, They rush through the conversation, so it kind of.
I know, but that's the world we live in, but that's why I'm here to tell people, look, slow down, especially because of YouTube and TikTok and the shorts, which now I have to make those, and I hate them now already. I've not even made them, but no one can say anything of any real value in less than 1 minute. So, and TikTok and Twitter are the same way. That's why we've broken down communication, because we're not really communicating. We're only saying things in very short bursts. And, the other thing I hate about TikTok is, or YouTube shorts is because they have the time limit, it encourages everyone to speak like this. Do you know what I think? Blah, 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 blah. It's like a fast commercial. Everybody's speaking like they're a fast commercial. And oh my God.
I think it happens even in Indian languages. We have many languages and people just rush to the language. Half of the people don't understand what you're saying. Then we'll be like, can you repeat this,
That's
please?
interesting.
I can't really understand.
And I've noticed that about, again, I'm a musician, I'm a drummer, and so rhythm is the thing I pay attention to. And I don't speak any Hindi or Tamil or anything like that, but, or I could say namaste, but that's it. But I pay attention to the sound of the rhythm, and Indian is fast. Indian languages are fast. It's funny. I did study a little bit of Indian music, and so I learned the Tala system, which is the takadimi, takadimi, takada, takadimi, takada. And man, they can go so fast with that. It's crazy how fast they can do those things. It's amazing to me. And again, it tells you a little bit something about the Indian languages. If they can move their mouths that fast when they do those rhythmic exercises, it's because the language itself is fast. Yeah.
But if Indian languages are fast, it doesn't cause us any problem. But English, because we have to use that in professional setting, we have to speak with different culture people, and that changes a lot.
Well, I'll tell you what.
I think it takes lots of practice, I guess.
It might be a good idea if you should spend more time here. Okay, I've been here for 10 years, and I talk to people from all over the world.
So sure, I'll try my best. I speak often,
Yeah,
then maybe yeah,
but
it'll be easier.
you know what might be good for you. You're a doctor, so you probably are too busy for this. But if you can find any
Yeah, no,
time,
actually, now I've took off work because I have post graduation examination in next 2 months. So I'm kind of, trying to get
really
better in
busy.
this also.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
so
what I'm
yeah, not
saying
working right
is one of the advantages that I have is I've been here for a long time and I have talked to people in almost every country in the world now. And
now.
that
Yeah, yeah,
means that I have
I
a
get it.
lot of practice listening to English in every accent out there. I am probably more fluent in listening to other accents of English than just about anyone in my country. Only because very few people get to talk to so many people.
Yeah, that's good,
It is.
Nice
It's
when you
good.
can
That's what I'm
understand.
saying. That's right. And so that's why I'm saying it's an advantage I have, and that's how I got that advantage is by talking to people
Yeah.
here. So
I tried to,
yeah.
around 7 o'clock is your live streaming, you said just now.
Yeah,
Try
and
to
you know what
attend
you
that.
could
So
do
I will
is
try to join
you could apply to see if you can get your own live stream. Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know about that.
It's not that hard.
Okay.
It's not that hard. And then when you have your own live stream, many people want to come on the stage and talk, and you'll get more opportunity to practice. Because
Yeah,
if you don't have a live
probably.
stream on Hello Talk, it's a lot harder to get people to talk to you. But there's a problem with that too. I talk to people
So
about
I
that
have
all
a
the
doubt.
time.
If we put a live stream like that, like why would native English speaking people want to speak to me? Like, I don't really understand the concept. So
Well,
they will be willing to learn some of the language, right?
Well, maybe it
That's what
won't be native speakers, but it will be English, and you need to because maybe it'll be somebody from France who's speaking English. English is what's called a lingua franca. It means it's the most common language among anybody in the world who doesn't know another language to communicate.
yeah.
So it's not the most popular language in the world. But if I go to India and I want to, or let's use another example. If I go to China and I want to communicate with someone, can I find someone who speaks Hindi? Yeah, probably. Can I find someone who speaks Spanish? Yeah, probably. But can I find someone who speaks English much easier? Yeah, definitely. English is definitely the most common language that you can find among people who don't know the same, don't speak the same language. So that's maybe you won't be dealing with Australians or South Africans or Kiwis or whatever, but maybe you'll be dealing with someone from Botswana who speaks English or from, Brazil who speaks
But
English.
I think because I'm new to this live stream thing, I'll just follow you for a few days and understand how this works. Maybe I'll try speaking to more people and then maybe I will try, maybe have a live stream. I don't
Send
know.
me a private
But
message
thank you.
too. Send me a private message because I think I have a link I want to send you about some medical English ESL stuff that's really good for you. So send me a private
Yeah,
message
okay.
and I'll send
Sure.
it to you.
Yeah,
Okay?
sure. I will. Thank you so much. That was
You're
very sweet
welcome.
of you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
thank you
sure.
for coming. And why?
Hope I
By the
catch
way,
up with you tomorrow again.
which city are you
Yeah.
in?
I am from Vizag, from Andhra Pradesh, from the state of Andhra Pradesh.
Okay.
Yeah, I speak Telugu. So
Oh,
yeah,
all right. Okay. Well, thank you for coming on
yeah,
my stage, and I'll see you next time. Then. Okay.
yeah. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Take
Bye
care.
bye.
Bye bye. All right, we're doing pretty well here. Let me catch up with some comments. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not sure, Erica. I'm not sure why you didn't find me until now. Not sure. Will you learn to talk in a more informal way? Yeah, over time. Over time, you will. If you speak English long enough, you should start by learning the formal way to speak. And then, in time, as you use that language more and communicate with people more, you'll learn more slang, more phrasal verbs, more common language, and you'll be able to use it. But in the beginning, you should focus on formal language. Formal language. Okay. What is the etymology of entitled? Let me check. Entitled, from French, intalier, from the Latin intitulare, to give a title or name to. Right, so originally the word means to give a name to someone. To entitle someone originally meant to give a name to someone, but or a rank, like a position, right? So this is how the word works. Originally, it was about giving a name. Then it became about giving a position, like a promotion, right? So when someone says you're entitled, it means that you're acting like you have a higher job than you do. You're acting like you have a higher position than you do. Okay? Like privilege. Okay? You're acting like you're a rich, snobby person, or you're acting like you are a elite person in some way. Okay? That's where the word comes from. Oh. Erica, I wouldn't necessarily say everyone who talks so fast is like that, has low self-esteem or they're arrogant. No, but I would just say that I think the world would be a better place if we all took a little bit more time with our language, whatever language we're speaking. That's a fairly simple thing to do. Why does it have another meaning when we put N in front of it? Because N means in, and titulus means title. So the EN actually comes from the Latin letters IN, meaning in. So with, like to have your title in you, right? It's inside. Okay? Okay, let's see. Let me make sure I didn't miss any comments, and then I will try to talk to some other people also. It's changing our brains. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and not in a good way. Sound bites. Yeah, indeed. Welcome, Steph. Okay, let's see. Hello, Diomar. Buenos dias. Hello from Colombia. Why do Chinese people use an English name? Why don't they keep the Chinese name? Well, some of them do, but because they want an English name. That's one of the nice things about choosing a language and learning it. You can choose a new name. And when you choose a new name, it's a very liberating thing. You can actually almost become a completely new person. So, consider that, everyone. If you feel like there are some aspects of you that you're not particularly proud of, or that you would like to improve on or change or somehow become better, when you learn a language, if you focus on it enough, learning another language does change your personality significantly. And sometimes even when you speak that language, you actually almost change personalities a bit too. So, consider that. It's actually something that could be advantageous to you, an advantage, where if you feel like you want to make a change in your life, learn a language, choose a new name. Now you can be that person. Okay? To be entitled to. Yes, to be entitled to, Erica, means to have the right to. That's right. Yeah, but that becomes a phrasal verb, right? To be entitled to something. Hello, Alexis. Hola. Buenos dias. Hello, MI. And that's another reason why sometimes Chinese people choose an English name, because sometimes pronouncing the Chinese names is really hard for most people, right? So I speak Chinese, so when I see a Chinese name, I usually know how to pronounce it pretty well or pretty close. But man, most people, when they see Chinese names, they butcher them. They just destroy them and they don't pronounce them well at all. So that's a bigger reason why I think they choose English names, because if you don't speak Chinese and you're reading their name, the chances that you're going to read it wrong are very high. Robert, don't take offense. It was just a simple question. It was just a simple question. It's a cultural question, Robert, and it's a valid cultural question. And it's an interesting thing because, like I said, I've known many, many people who have chosen English names, and almost all of you probably have gone through a few different English names, and I think that's interesting too, right? I know some people who have had 3, 4, 5 different English names because they think they like this name for a while, then they choose a different name, they think that's different. That's totally fine, but I find the psychological aspects to it curious and interesting to think about, because it does allow you to kind of change who you are a little bit. And so when you change a name, you have to decide, who is this person now? Who is this new name I just chose, It was nice to talk to you too, Sahiti. Okay, let's see. What advice would I give to young people? Slow down and learn how to be more patient. Everybody wants everything now, and it's obnoxious. I know I sound like an old man, but it is super obnoxious. Anyway, get off my lawn. That's a required statement when you're an old man. How can I use these words? Through, throughout, thoroughly, thorough, though, and thought? Well, those are very different words mostly. Through means to go through something, right? So if you have a tunnel and you go through the tunnel, okay? Throughout means all spread over. Spread throughout something means it's what's the word I'm looking for? Ubiquitous, possibly ubiquitous. It's throughout, okay? McDonald's is located throughout America, throughout the world, okay? Thoroughly means to do something very much, very well, very something, right? So I thoroughly studied this book. He thoroughly explained it to me. It means it's a superlative in that case. It means something more, okay? More effectively, more, better in some way, okay? Or more in some way. Thorough is the same thing as thoroughly, but thoroughly is the adverb form. How did he do it? He did it thoroughly. Okay, to be thorough means to do something well or effectively, right? Be thorough when you study this. Don't do it a little bit, really focus, okay? The word though is often used in a contradictory kind of a way, where you say, I wanted to go to the park today, but it's raining though. Okay, it means that it often comes at the end of the sentence, and or it could come in the middle, and it's like a but. Okay, it's kind of serves as a but. You know, I wanted to go to the park today, though it's raining, but it's raining. Okay, same kind of thing. And thought is thinking. Thoughts. A thought means an idea in your mind. Okay, do you have any thoughts? Means do you have any ideas or things you want to say about this? Okay, there you go, Rennie. All right. Yes, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. There is my YouTube channel right there. Okay. All right. Wow. Okay. It's so hard to keep up with the comments. Violet has been using her name for over 10 years. Good. Good for you. That's a pretty name. It's a pretty flower. You invited me to have breakfast with a favorite bagel and coffee. I didn't have bagel and coffee today. Today I had some yogurt and coffee. If there was an R&B legend, who would it be to me? The R&B legends that I admire, Marvin Gaye, he's an R&B legend. Aretha Franklin, Al Green. Those are the classic. When you say R&B to me, it means that music. Now when people use the term R&B, I don't even know where they got this idea that the modern music they call R&B is R&B. It's not. R&B means rhythm and blues. And there is no blues in any of the R&B that they call today. I don't know where they get it from. It doesn't even seem remotely related to the original form of R&B. So if you want to know what R&B really sounds like, go check out, Marvin Gaye. He wrote a lot of great songs. Ain't no mountain high enough. Mercy, Mercy Me. What's Going On? That's the one you should go check out. Check out What's Going On. And the Reverend Al Green and Aretha Franklin. And that's classic R&B, and that's what I consider to be R&B. Julie, I lived in Taiwan for 4 years. Hello, Iman. Obnoxious means very, very annoying. Hello, Miriam. You have the same name in Arabic, but that's because in general, Arabic names are not always that difficult for English speakers to pronounce. But that's not always true for Chinese names. Okay. The blues is a kind of music. Do a search online for blues music. Check out Stevie Ray Vaughan or B.B. King. Either of them. Check out B.B. King first and then check out Stevie Ray Vaughan. Okay? Julie, yes, 我会说中文，可是我的中文一点奇怪，因为我自己学中文。Okay, let's talk to Eladi Anan. Raise your hand if you want to come talk to me. I'm sorry it took so long. I'm slow. I'm tired today. Yeah, that's another way to look at it, Erica. From the beginning to the end, thoroughly. Yeah, it means without, make sure you do it well, completely, thoroughly. Yeah, from the beginning to the end, sure. Well, okay. Who else wants to come talk to me? Eladi Adnan, I tried to bring you up, but you're not answering. So how about Luna? I know many Lunas in Chinese names, no, Chinese people named Luna. Hello, Luna. How are you?
Hello. Hi. Oh my gosh. I'm not, I didn't expect to be on stage. Thank you for inviting me.
You're
I was
welcome.
just listening.
You're welcome. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty well.
Good.
How are you today?
I'm tired, but I'm okay. Um,
Oh,
do you have any
how long
questions
have
for
you
me?
been on stage?
Oh, how long have I been doing this? About an hour and 15 minutes.
You must be tired.
I usually do a lot longer than that. Usually my streams are like 2.5 to 4 hours. Sometimes I'm just talking for 4 hours. It's a lot.
That's long enough. That's
Yeah,
long enough.
that's too long. Yeah. So, Luna, do you have any questions for me or anything I can help you with
Yeah,
today?
and music is your hobby, yeah, right?
I wouldn't say it's my hobby. I would say it's another job that I do because that's actually, I've been a drummer longer than I've been a teacher.
So,
I,
you
I
made
played in many, many,
being,
many bands playing
you
lots of
became a
music.
teacher from being
Yes,
drummer.
that's right. I
So
started,
how did you make it happen? Like, you make your hobby to be your job. That's really fascinating.
yeah, so I'm a weird person. I can't do anything that I don't love. So I'm just not
Oh,
capable. It's a flaw in me that I cannot do it.
I
If
don't
it's,
think so. I think that's, one of your advantage because there are a lot of people nowadays, and they don't like their job, but they have to go every day.
Mhm.
They are not happy with their job, but they could not figure out like how to make their, hobby or interest to be their job.
Well, the
So
internet
that's a
has helped that
really
a lot, I
difficult
think.
thing.
I think there's a lot of people who are starting to do what we call a side hustle. Side hustle. To hustle means to work hard or to run hard or to try hard or something like that. And so a side hustle is kind of like, okay, well, I have my job that I hate, but let me try to do, I'm going to try to turn my hobby into something. Maybe I'll sell these things online or I'll teach online or I'll do something online. So that has helped a lot. But yeah, I started teaching drums when I was 18 years old. And then I also started playing music in bands and bars and stuff like that about the same time. And so I did that until I still do that. It's such a weird thing. I can't say I'm not a drummer anymore because I'm more of a drummer than I am anything else. Well, here, just yesterday I was playing just for fun. Here, let me pull this up and see if I can share it. Let's see. Oh, no, not that. This. There we go. Share screen, confirm, window, this one. So here, somebody asked me to play some music for them the other day. I like to get on my stream and they give me songs I've never heard before, and then I just try to play. So this is a song I've never heard before. And I do a lot of different kinds of music. So let's see what's the next song here. This is a German one. And then let's see, how about this one? This is Turkish.
I love it.
So,
So,
yeah, anyway, put it this way. You can't do that unless you've been playing for a very long time and probably as a professional. I mean, I'm not trying to brag or anything, but it's a skill we
you're
call
really professional. You're
it's what
so
we
good
call
at it.
listening around corners. It's a skill where we listen to a song we've never played before and we try to play along and see if I can just fit in to something I've never done before. And it's why musicians have a big advantage learning languages because we listen better.
You have good ear.
Yeah,
I can tell.
that's the job of being a musician, is to listen.
So if you want to learn another language, you can pick up
I
so easily,
can.
more
Well, I
easily
wouldn't
than
say,
other
yeah.
people.
Yeah, I would say not so easily, but more easily than some people because we pay attention to things that they don't. And we have
Yeah.
learning how to play an instrument. That's why a lot of people watch me here because I give them tips on how to learn. And what I teach them is how we learn music, but I apply it to language. And some people think it's, wow, that's amazing. I never thought about it that way. But some people think, oh, that's too crazy. I can't do that. Because it is.
Because there are a lot of different type of learners. Some people like audio type, yeah.
Yeah,
They
that's
can
right. Yeah.
learn while they are listening.
Yeah.
Some people want to see it, touch it. So
That's right. Yeah, that's exactly right. However, there's another theory about that now. We used to talk about that all the time about how everybody has their learning style, and so you should only focus on that style. But that's really not true anymore. Now we know that, yes, you have your learning style, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't try to learn in other styles. And as a matter of fact, your brain wants to. Your brain wants to input information as much as it can in as many ways as it can. So you shouldn't try to limit it by giving it only one. So when people ask me what's the best way to learn English, and they want me to tell them one thing, like reading or writing, no, the best way to learn is absolutely every way. So when I wanted to learn drums, when I was 16 years old, I did a little research and I looked into all my favorite drummers and I found out what books they studied in. And I made this big, long list of all these books. And it was a very long list. And it was also all kinds of, it was about many, many different concepts of music, not just rock drumming or something like that. It was everything, right? And I saved up some money and I bought all of these books, like 30, 35 books or something. And I had a stack of them that I put next to my drum set. And that was now I call that my mountain of learning. And that's what I want everybody to
mountain
do
of
is,
learning.
yeah, you need to have a mountain of learning. Some people, when they do learning,
cool.
they get book one and they go through book one and then do book two and they go through book two and then they get book three. I think that's not a good way to do it. Get all of them. Get book 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, however many books you want to do, get all of them. That way you can see how big the mountain is that you're trying to climb. If you only have book 1, you really don't understand what you're getting into. But if you get all of the information that you're ever going to need to study that thing and you have it in one place where you can see it all, it gives you a much greater sense of the depth of what you're doing. And then you can take it more seriously. And it's also really good because you won't be so bored. So if you pick up one and you work on it, so for example, if you're doing your grammar and you hate grammar, because most people do, fine, do your grammar for a little while until you get bored or frustrated, and then put it away. And what I recommend is put it away and then improvise something simple for fun. For 5, 10, 15 minutes. Take a break by doing something about English, but not something that's the grammar you were just doing. Just, maybe practice a conversation or write something or listen or watch TV or something like that different for a few minutes. Then pick up the next book with another different subject. Maybe you're doing vocabulary and do that until you get bored. And then pick up another one, pronunciation until you get bored, and then pick up another one. That way you can always keep yourself busy and your mind will never get that bored. You just have to move on to another subject.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's what I do sometimes during, practicing my English.
Good. Yeah. And again, I like to
agree with
think
you.
I like to think about it like a mountain also because you're trying to climb the mountain, and lots of people think that the idea is to climb the mountain as fast as they can to get to the top. I disagree. I think that the idea is to climb the mountain from every path that you can find to get to the top, right? Like think about it more like you're trying to become a guide for this mountain, right? And if you only know one path up the mountain, then you're not a very good guide. But if you know every path going up the mountain, then you're a very good guide. And it's also a good way to think about sometimes people, they plateau. which means that they reach a point where in the beginning you're learning and you're learning and you're learning and you're it's so fast you're improving, but then you hit a point where you feel like you're not getting anywhere anymore. That's called plateauing. A plateau is a flat area, flat land. And it's, again, if you think about it like let's say you've got that mountain in front of you and every day you're painting that mountain from the same view. Eventually you'll get very good at that, but you're also going to get very bored. So you need to pick up your paints and walk down the street and look at the mountain from a different angle. That's the way you need to think about learning. If you're getting bored, you need to try to figure out how can I look at this from a different angle and study it in a different way so I'm not bored anymore and so I'm challenging myself again, and then I'll feel like I'm making progress again. Yeah.
I agree with that. That's the main problem I have. Like sometimes I feel like, as long as I keep learning, practicing, I couldn't feel I'm making some improvement. And I'm feeling like I'm gonna end up in nowhere.
Well,
That happens a lot to language learners, I guess,
it does.
especially in intermediate level.
Right. Well, but again, it's usually because of failure to think creatively about what you're doing. So it's about thinking about how many angles can I look at this thing, right? So if I'm a drummer, I can play classical music and rock music and blues music and funk music and jazz music and rock, country music and folk music and Latin music and Brazilian music and each one of those is a completely different thing to study. And I can study music reading, and I can study technique, and I can study, famous musicians and watch what they did. There are a million ways to do it. And again, this is why I'm trying to teach people this about learning in general, but definitely learning languages. People are approaching language learning in too much of a boring way, and also too much of the same thing. Everybody's doing it the same way over and over again. And it's one big reason why a lot of people don't want to learn a language, because they think it's too hard. And it can be, but most of the reason why it's difficult is because, again, it's like a failure of creativity in learning. If you learn creatively, you'll learn well. If you learn in a boring way, you won't. So Chinese people always ask me, they come up here and they say, how can I memorize words better, Teacher Mark? How can I memorize words better? Because I forget all the words. Well, maybe the problem is that memorizing doesn't work. It's been proven time and time again. Memorizing doesn't work because it's not creative. So it goes in one ear and comes right out the other. Okay? And, but if you can make it creative, then it will. So I will make one caveat to that. I will say that memorizing is okay if it's the first step in a long process of steps that you're using to learn. But that's not what people usually do. Usually, that's all they're doing is memorizing. That's it. They just want to memorize. So if they have a new word, they just write it down 10 times and they think, oh, please let me remember that word. That's really what memorizing is. They're begging and hoping their brain will remember. That's it. Please don't forget this word, brain. But, that just doesn't work, And then I tell them, okay, well, if you're going to write a sentence 10 times with that word, then make it a weird sentence. Don't write a normal sentence. Write a funny sentence, because your brain likes funny. So when people say, I always give the example, like your new word is microphone. You could write a simple sentence that says, this is an expensive microphone. Or you can write a sentence that say, my little brother hit me in the nose with the microphone. Or the elephant hit the gorilla with the microphone. Whatever. Paint a picture in your mind that's weird and funny, and you'll remember it. Okay? I call it the big elephant hat theory. If you're walking down the street and you see another person and they're just walking down the street dressed normally, you're not going to remember them. Mm-hmm. But if you see a person walking down the street and they have a huge, big, pink elephant hat on, you're going to remember them and you're going to talk about it to everybody. So use that idea. Your brain likes weird, different, creative things. If you use that, then you will remember. But when we try to make things too normal, I'm not saying you shouldn't write a normal sentence. You can, but make sure you also do one that's weird, because that's the one you'll remember. Okay? I just gave you a lot of information.
That's really cool. Because that's the technique I used for my building up my vocabularies. Like I didn't like try to pick up like 10 100 or 50 words like as normal Chinese student. I tried to learn like 8 or 5 new words by daily, and then after I see the all explanation for this word in English, and then I try to make my own story.
That's cool.
I didn't care about the grammar. I didn't care about the meaning. I just tried to make it weird story, and it helped me a lot.
That's good.
That's the one technique I'm gonna share with my all Hello Talk friends.
That's exactly right.
And I agree with you. That's really fun.
It's
That's
all
really
about
best
using
way.
creativity. That's it. It's just creativity. You have to use creativity or it's not going to be effective. Your brain wants it creative. If you're not giving it creative, then you're working harder than you need to. Okay? So for example, a lot of people watch me because of vocabulary. I teach vocabulary here often, but the way I teach vocabulary is very different. Sometimes I teach etymology, which means the history of where words come from. So for example, your name, what does your name mean?
Luna. It means beautiful moon.
Yeah,
because
it means
that's
moon.
the meaning of my original name.
That's right. It means moon. That's right. And like, for example, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Do you know what those mean?
Yeah.
What do they mean?
It's a week.
Yes, but each day actually has a meaning.
Days of week.
So Monday, let's start with Sunday. Sunday means the day of the sun. It means the day of the sun.
God's day?
Monday means the day of the moon. That's your day. Tuesday is actually from a German word that the word Tiew, T-I-E-W, was the German name for the god Mars. So Tuesday is the day of two. The god
It sounds
Mars.
like, number 2.
It does sound like that. That's right. Yeah. But it's actually not related to that at all. Because people
That's
get
how I
confused with that.
remember.
Yeah. Wednesday.
When I first learned.
Wednesday is, have you guys ever watched any of those the superhero movies and they have Thor? Thor is the guy with the big hammer, right?
Oh, yeah.
The beautiful guy with the long hair, right? And his father is Odin. Right? And Odin,
okay.
Yeah, Odin, a long time ago, they used to spell it as Voden, V-O-D-E-N. So, yeah, Odin, that means Wednesday is Voden's day. It's Odin's day. And that means Thursday is the day of Thor. Thor's day. It's Thor's day. Friday is named after the Viking goddess Freya, who's another famous goddess in the Viking mythology, Freya. Saturday is named after the god Saturn, the Roman god Saturn, which is where the planet Saturn gets its name from too. So there's all those days. Now, see, when you learn that, you'll remember because it's creative. You go, wow, I didn't know that those actually have meaning. And all the months have meaning. And, 60% of English words come from Latin or Greek. And if you learn a little bit about that, there are sometimes very interesting stories, like the word car. The word car comes from a Roman word carum, which was the word that they used for a chariot. A chariot was, it's like a vehicle with 2 wheels with a horse that pulls it, right? And you stand on it. That was what they called a carum. So that's where we get the word car from. When you learn those things, you don't have to try to remember. It's now like, oh, well, that makes sense. And your brain goes, I like that. And yeah, etymology is amazing. I love etymology. It's fun. It's interesting. It was the first language I studied was Latin when I was 15. And I sucked at it. It was so hard. That language is really hard. But I learned this. I learned about etymology, and it was really interesting, I remember I saw the word agricola. Agricola is a Latin word, and it means farm or farmer. And then all of a sudden I realized that all of the words in English that have agri mean something about farming. And that was like, oh, well, there's a useful tip. There's a useful tip. Agriculture, right, agribusiness, all of those. Or aquaculture, aquarium. Aqua means water, right?
Aquarium.
And it would drive me crazy when I was teaching English in Taiwan, and I would teach them the word submarine, right? A boat that goes underwater. But nobody would teach them that the word sub means under and the word marine means water. That drove me crazy. Like, why wouldn't you stop and teach them that? And subway, sub means under. Way is an old word that means the road. So subway means the under road. Right? That's a much easier way to learn vocabulary. Instead of going like, please, brain, please don't forget subway. Yeah, so memorizing is just not effective. At least if, again, I'll make that one caveat that it's not effective if it's the only thing you do. If you use that as your step one in a process of 10 steps of learning, okay, fine. I'll accept that you can try to memorize some things. And occasionally there are some things that you can't really do any other way. Certain things like phrasal verbs. Some phrasal verbs, you just have to kind of learn them through rote memorization, which means not just writing them down, but trying to use them a lot. Yeah. So, anyway, Luna, where are you in China?
I'm from China, in far west of China.
Which one? Xinjiang or where?
Xinjiang.
Oh, okay, cool, nice.
Oh, how do you know that?
I know about geography. I've talked to
Yeah,
I've talked
I
to
bet.
people,
I bet.
I talked
I
to
bet you know
people
very
all
well
over the world. So yeah,
because I come up with a lot of people, and they ask me where are you from, and then I said I'm from China, and then they don't believe me. They make me speak in Chinese, and then okay.
well, again, I did live in Taiwan for 4 years, and I've been on this app for 10 years, and I've talked to people in almost every place in the world. And geography is something I enjoy. So that's why I always ask everyone, where are you from? Because if I don't know it, then I'll go look and see if I can find it and try to remember next time.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So anyway,
That's why I always test people's geography by telling where I'm from, like telling far west of China.
right. Yeah. Well, when you say far west of China, there aren't too many options to choose. I mean, you could say Mongolia or whatever, but that's kind of north far west, yeah, but anyway, yeah,
That's
Xinjiang is
how
the first one I would think
how
of.
we describe this place in Chinese.
Oh, really? Oh, that's right. I guess that's
Yeah.
true. I did know that. So
I just
anyway,
translated.
and yeah, your English is great, by the way.
Thank you.
So can just keep at it. You're doing great.
Yeah, and I'm surprised, like to my surprise, how could I, missed your so many lessons? You're really, you have great, unique teaching technique and teaching method. I really enjoyed, and I'm working as a marketing management at a company, and also like because my English is good enough to teach some kids. So my second job is teaching at
Good for you.
like kindergarten,
Yeah, that's great. I
on the
did that too.
weekend. So I'm working as an English teacher for kids because I love kids,
Actually,
and it's
that's
my
one
second
reason
job.
why your English is better, because when you teach kids, you have to learn how to speak slowly.
Yes, I should speak slowly.
Yeah.
I should create story. I should, I should find something funny to make them learn. That's why I enjoyed. And then to my surprise, why did I miss your so many, live
Well,
streams?
now you
I've
know.
been on Hello Talk for more than 2 months or more than 1 month.
Well, I've been on Hello Talk for about 10 years.
Oh, okay.
And I've been doing the live streams for about 2 years. but now you know.
2
And
years.
yeah, I know it's not usually easy for people, but I do have a YouTube channel with a whole bunch of videos recorded with all these too. So, wink, wink. You know.
Okay.
And they're asking, "Are you a Uyghur?"
Yeah, I'm Uyghur.
Well, that's cool. You're the first Uyghur I've officially talked to, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I
my
think
honor.
so. It's kind of,
Thank
I'm not
you.
really certain. You know, I may have talked to some
I
before,
thought you
but
met a lot. That's why you know.
well, there's not that many Uyghurs who come on here, I think. Not too, well, let's put it this way. When I talk to most people and they're from China, it's usually Eastern, you know, or Southern China, not Western. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure you're probably the first Uyghur I've actually talked to. So nice to talk to you. Yeah.
It's really, yeah, it's really nice to talk to you. I enjoyed.
Well, come back and see me again sometime, okay?
I will.
All right.
I'll be here.
All right. Thank you, Luna. I'll see you next time.
Thanks for your time, and I recommend your lesson. I see you teach one-on-one lesson
I
on
do.
Hello Talk.
Yeah, I do.
I think your lesson is quite fun, so
Well, they
I'm gonna
are.
recommend your lesson to my friends who are trying to learn
Thank
English.
you. I appreciate that. Yeah, and again, one thing you said is true. Like, so my teaching is different because I didn't learn how to teach from anyone else. I didn't learn any of this from anyone else. All these
I
ideas
really
that I have are
enjoyed your
mine.
teaching style because I didn't spend a lot of time, to be honest, on learning English. Because when I was in high school, middle school, I was busy with learning Chinese. And when I got on college, I I realized I should learn English. And then since 2017, I started learning this language.
Wow. Well,
If
then
I
you're doing
compare
very
myself,
well.
you know, with my Chinese students who spent a lot of time, more than 10 years on learning English, I can tell I didn't waste all my time.
But again, that's the reason why I talk about how memorizing doesn't work, because everyone here, if you're from China, then you know how many people do you know who passed the test for English, but they can't use their English very well. I know lots
Even
of them.
English teachers.
Yeah, even English
English
teachers. Yes, even English teachers. Yes, that's exactly true. And it's because look, there's just so much pressure on Chinese kids to study and pass the tests that they don't take the time to actually understand the materials. They just memorize the answers. And that's, I mean, I taught and I know what that's what they want. They just want me to give them the answers so they can memorize it to pass the test. Ah, here it goes again.
Yeah.
Oh, let me take a picture of this and figure out why it's doing this weird message. Failed to operate something. Confirm. Okay. Sorry about that, Luna.
And
Yeah.
that's okay.
Anyway, yeah, my friend
But
Athena, she's one of my
teacher
good
Mark,
friends there. She's
so
saying you've got
guys,
the
I
best
really
English.
recommend her teaching style because that's how learn my English. Some technique he mentioned I used for myself to
Well, there
learn
you
this
go.
language. So it's really useful.
Yep. And you know what?
Thank
There's
you
another
for
thing.
sharing.
I'll say one last thing is there's a great quote that I love from Rod Serling. He says, if you're being just like everybody is the same as being nobody. And
Being nobody.
yeah,
It makes
well,
you
it's
special
true
and
because
really
when you
unique.
do it the same way as everyone else, the chances are it's
You end up nowhere.
that's right. That's exactly right. But if you find a
Just
different
end up
path,
being
you might
ordinary, regular
that's,
people.
That's well, and unfortunately, that means there are a lot of you, and that means you're not particularly special, or you are replaceable, or you're not very valuable. But if you take a different path, then maybe you might have something. At first, it's dangerous because people think, well, you're taking the different path. You shouldn't do that. But if you follow that path long enough, then people go, wow, look, they did it. They got to the same place I
Yeah.
did on a different road. That's crazy. So anyway,
That's
Luna,
incredible.
thank you very much for coming on my stage, and I'll see you again, I'm sure. So take care, and thank you, and
Okay, thanks for your time. I'll
You're
miss
welcome.
you and I'll be here.
all right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So anyway, thank you, Athena. You're very nice to say that. Elsa, there is no look of an American. Try to remember that, Elsa. Americans are every look, not just this one. Okay? Americans are white, black, yellow, brown, green. Americans are every color, every race, every culture. So try not to make it seem like Americans are only this, because that's not a accurate statement. Okay. Let me talk to, let's see, Violet was next. And then I'll try to get to more people. Just try to be patient, okay? I'm doing the best I can. Hello, Violet.
Hello.
How are you?
Hello. I'm pretty good. Thank you.
What can I do for you today? Do you have a question?
I don't know what to ask. It's my first time here. I was a little bit nervous.
Well,
Oh my
don't
God.
be nervous. Look, here's your first lesson then.
Yeah.
You can't be good at something if you never try.
Yeah.
And speaking
It's true.
takes practice. So when people say, well, I tried speaking, but I was nervous and I couldn't do well, I always ask them, how many times did you try? And they'll say, well, I tried 4 times or I tried 10 times. Well, guess what? If you haven't tried 1,000 times, then you haven't tried. That's the way you need to look
Okay.
at it. That's the way you need to understand. So in the beginning, of course, if you have a path of 1,000 times. Once you hit 1,000 times, believe me, you'll be comfortable. You'll be very comfortable by the time you get to there.
Okay.
But if you're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, of course you're uncomfortable. You're like a baby. You're new. That's just how it goes. So don't be surprised that you're scared or frustrated or nervous when you've only done it 10 times. And you guys all need to reevaluate your idea of practice, okay? And again, this is something I teach as a musician. Musicians don't practice just
Okay,
a
I
little
remember.
bit. We practice a lot. Okay? So when you see us
Okay.
perform and you think, wow, they're so talented, I can't believe how talented they are. You're seeing the product of thousands of hours of work that you just didn't see. They worked at home to practice to get that good. And so when you see
Yeah.
them that way, you just think it's natural ability. And maybe that's about this much of it, but the rest of it is just hard work. So I'm just trying to teach you guys that you need to reevaluate your concept of practice. And if you think that doing things 10 times is enough, you're wrong. Okay?
Okay, I remember 1,000
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
1,000 times.
Yeah. And
I will
actually,
try.
do you know where I get this from? I got this idea from Bruce Lee, the Kung Fu guy. I forgot how to say
Oh.
his Chinese
yeah.
name. What's his Chinese name? I
Yeah,
always
yeah.
forget.
Li Xiaolong.
Right, Li Xiaolong.
Li
Right.
Xiaolong.
And he doesn't say 1,000, he says 10,000. Yeah.
10,000.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
His idea of practice was 10,000 times, of doing one punch 10,000 times. He has
That's
a quote.
why he's the master.
That's right. That's
Master of
exactly
Kung
right.
Fu.
That's right. And that's what I'm trying to encourage everybody to understand is again, to be a master of anything, you have to reevaluate your idea of practice. Yeah. So anyway, don't worry. Now you've done it once, right? So the first time I got on stage to perform drums,
Yeah,
I was
still got
scared.
999
Yeah,
times
that's
to
right.
try.
That's right. But the first time I got on stage, I was nervous. The second time I got on stage, I was nervous. But now when I get on stage, that's like home.
Yeah.
That's like home
Yeah,
now.
right now I feel much better through talking to you for a few minutes.
See, it's not so bad. It's not so bad.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, well, Violet, I'm going to let you go and see if I can talk to a couple more people, okay?
Okay.
All right, but it was nice. Oh, before I forget, where are you in China?
I'm in Chengdu.
Chengdu.
Have you ever heard about
yeah.
the city?
我爱吃成都麻辣鸡
Hot pot? Hot pot?
hot pot 火锅 and also
Yeah.
I like
we have a
Sichuan.
panda base here. We have a panda base
I know
here.
that.
A lot of panda.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
really recommend you to come to the panda base. It's really amazing. And we also do have panda-shaped ice cream, which is
Ooh,
so
that's
cute.
interesting. But
Yeah.
I also 四川的食物就是我最爱的食物，我爱吃辣。
Wow. Wow, you're so lucky because you can eat spicy food. Then Sichuan is like a heaven.
Yeah, I love Sichuan food.
for
We
you.
have 2 Sichuan restaurants in my city. Actually, there are 3 that are pretty good. And one of them's really good. And yeah, I go there as often as I
Even
can.
even Chinese citizens, they all like to come to Chengdu to enjoy Sichuan food.
Yeah,
It's so famous.
it's yummy. That's why. I like
Thank
my
you for
favorite.
inviting
My
me on the
favorites
stage.
are.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome. You're welcome. Let me tell you my favorites. My favorites are because I think now you made me hungry. Now I feel like I want to go get some. I like Dou Hua Yu and
豆花鱼.
yeah, and Fuqi Fei Pian.
豆花鱼. Fuqi Fei Pian. Well, it's
Yeah.
really very traditional. Fuqi Fei Pian is very traditional and Chengdu snacks. Maybe number 1 or
Yeah, that's
top
my
1 or top 2.
favorite.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. When it's done well, oh, it's so good. So good. Yeah. So anyway, well, Violet, thank you.
You have been to Chengdu before?
No.
You mean your local Sichuan restaurant? Oh,
Yeah,
I
but
see.
I lived in Taiwan long enough to know what's good Chinese and what's not. And I only go to the restaurants where all the Chinese people go.
You really know good Chinese dishes.
Yeah, I do.
Not
Like I'm
and
also
not
a
as
cook.
some other foreigners. They only know some, sweet and
Right. Sweet and
Yeah,
sour, this and
you
that.
know what
Right.
I
Yeah. But I'm also a cook, so that's another reason why I know good food. So anyway. All right. Well, Violet, thank you for coming on my stage, and I'll see you next time. Okay.
Thank you for inviting me. I will try to join your lesson next time.
And please tell everyone else too. I need to spread the word and get more
Okay,
followers.
I will try to share this living room to my friends.
Great.
And thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah. No, I love spicy food. And David said I can learn English by myself through his effective advice and suggestions. And that's right, David. That's kind of the thing I do is, again, musicians, we have teachers, but we often have a teacher for a few years or maybe a year or 2, and then we have a few years where we don't have a teacher and we self-learn. We take the ideas the teacher gave us, and now we have to take that time and do some self-learning, right? So all musicians generally are good self-learners. They have to learn how to do things themselves, how to study that thing intensely. And so I'm trying to teach you techniques for that. Any teacher can take you through a book. Any teacher can just buy a book and say, okay, open to page 10. Let's go through this together. But what you need the tips that you need to understand so that you can do some work without the teacher, right? Properly without the teacher. Okay? So yeah, that's why I say I'm a teacher, but I'm also a coach. And a coach is more like a guide that you don't necessarily have all the time. You talk to the coach when you need to, you know? I'm sorry. Let me make sure I didn't miss any comments here. Alex in YouTube over here, guys. I'm sorry if I wasn't paying enough attention. I was kind of busy chatting, but let's see. Sometimes you mistype auxiliary verbs when you're, Alex, I'm not sure if I understand your question exactly, but that sounds like it's going to be a little bit complicated to explain. So why don't you send me a private message about that one, Alex, and I'll try to help you later, okay? Are upgrade and update similar? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Upgrading something, the grade of something means the quality of something, okay? So to upgrade means to improve the quality of something. To update just means to refresh whatever you have to the most I'm losing my words. The most up-to-date version of something, right? So when you update your programs, your program is too old. Now, when you update, it often means you're upgrading, but not necessarily. Sometimes an update, like iPhones, they always have little updates. I just did one just a few, days ago, and it wasn't a major, it's not an upgrade. It was just an update. It didn't make anything better, but it did change. There was a couple of bugs that it fixed. Okay. But it didn't upgrade the program somehow. Right. So updating is just bringing that thing up to the date of the most modern version of something. Upgrading always means improving it in some way. Okay. Oh man. You're learning English all by yourself. Is that okay? Probably, Noah, but it's one of those things where, again, I think it's important to do the best you can to try to check in with a good teacher every once in a while. That's why I try to tell people here, you don't have to buy all my lessons. You don't have to buy months and months of lessons from me. You can get one lesson from me or 4 lessons from me. And in that time, I promise you, I'll be able to guide you and help you with your self-study. Okay? It's good to make sure you have a teacher, to make sure you're staying on the path the right way. And a teacher can often give you tips that will make things a lot easier. Okay? I don't need a visa to go to Haikou? Really? I didn't know that. But I want to go there too. Wow, you guys are so nice. All these nice comments there. Thank you. Okay. Sana. Okay, I'm sorry, Sana. Okay, I'm going to get to Sana because she's been watching for a while. And George, I'll try to get to you too. I'm just trying to go as fast as I can. Sorry. Hello, Sana.
Hello, good evening, sir.
How are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm on top cloud 9.
Oh, well, that's good. You can just say, I'm on cloud 9.
Yeah, I'm on cloud 9. And I have a questions.
Okay, go ahead. What's your question?
Okay, thank you. Thanks for permission. My question is, as we pronounce as we pronounce C and C for accent in inward accent.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
But that word is C and C. So how can we decide there on which time or on which word we have to pronounce CC as SC and CC as CC? So what does it mean? Can you clear it?
Probably, yeah. Let me take a look for a moment. I'm looking at the word and to see where it comes from.
Okay.
Give me a moment. Let's see. Accent comes from the Latin word accentus, meaning song added to speech. Wow, that's cool. So the word accent originally comes from a Latin word that means song that you add to speech. That's very interesting. Okay. So the word, actually, the beginning, the AC part, comes from the Latin word ad, which is interesting, and it means to. And then, so the original word is ad cantus, which means to sing. How interesting. Accent actually comes from the word that means to sing. So now, how can you decide, how can you know which one is, let me try to see if there's another thing here. See, now sometimes you just have to know there are rules. So the letter C is pronounced with an S sound if it's followed by the letters E, I, or Y. So, for example, the word cent, right? 1 cent, 2 cents, right? Or Cinderella, the name Cinderella.
Okay.
And Lucy. Lucy has a Y at the end of it, right? So if it has an E, an I, or a Y after it, then it's pronounced with a C or an S sound. Sorry, S sound.
Okay.
That's known as the soft C sound. But the letter C produces a hard K sound if it's followed by the letters A, O, or U, or a consonant at the end of the word. Okay. So there's a link here that looks like it does a pretty good job of explaining all these rules here. Send me a private message, Sane, and I will send you this link. Okay.
Sir.
And you can, it has a video and a long explanation about all of them and with examples and everything. And there are other pronunciation videos that might help you too. But I will tell you this, most native speakers, they don't learn it that way. We just learn it through repetition. When we hear the word
Yeah,
enough,
of course.
you know.
Yeah, of course. It's not too important, but the reason is I'm studying literature, and I'm a student of. I need to do my further study with linguistic study, so I need or I should learn these things.
Well, if you're doing it for linguistics, then you definitely need to start looking into the etymologies of things. Because often the etymology will make it clear. You'll say, oh, well, now I see why it's spelled that way, why it's pronounced that way, why it, what it originally meant, and all those kinds of things. Yeah. And then it gets more complicated, Sane, because now we also have a lot of Italian words in English, and Italian has a whole nother, like the word cello. That's C-E-L-L-O, and it's the soft C in Italian, which is different, right? And there are many, many words. Ciabatta is a kind of bread with a soft C. So there are a bunch of those words, too, that make it a little bit more complicated because those are Italian. But again, if you look at the etymology, then you'll see that and go, oh, now I understand. Because English gets complicated because we adopt so many words from so many different languages, and we also adopt the pronunciation from them. So cello is pronounced that way, but cafe, the word cafe that's from French, right? The word alcohol and the word algebra are from Arabic. Yeah, that's why it gets complicated with English, because we steal things from so many places. So, did you have another question?
Yeah, I have one. I have last two questions.
Okay.
Okay, and my first question will be as the same that I've asked to you that I need to just SS though. How can I decide that SS is pronounced to SH and SS is pronounced to as the simple as? For example, is it essential or essentials?
Essentials.
Just like essential SH sound, okay?
And with the SS sound, it's often just, it's just two S's. There's no difference. Essential. Essential.
Essential.
Yeah, honestly, just ignore one of the S's. It's just, it sounds like it's one S. There's no two. Put it this way. Some people, when they pronounce it, they say essential. And some people say essential. But either way, it's still really one long S that's together. So don't think of it as two. Just think of it as one. If you think of it as two, you're making it too complicated.
Okay. My last question is, I faced a lot of problem while my accent. So here I need to clear and figure it out there. Have you ever faced that any kind of accent I'm trying, or do you find any kind of accent as similar to my accent?
Yeah, it's vaguely similar to some Indian, Bangladeshi, Sri Lankan kind of area, that area, I would say, vaguely. But it's not it's not that bad though, Sana. I mean, I can understand you, but I would give you the same advice I gave the Indian guy I talked to earlier. Focus on the vowel pronunciations in English, right? A, E, I,
Yeah.
O, U, A, E, I, O,
Yes.
And remember that American English, not British English, because I don't teach that. I only teach American English, is a big mouth language. And if you make your mouth bigger, it will sound more clear. Okay? And you can do,
Okay.
again, what I recommend many people is write down 10 words at the top of a piece of paper that are difficult for you to say. Write them down at the top of the paper. And then look at that word and figure out what's the problem with this word. Is it my R sound, the TH sound, the V sound? What's difficult for me in that word? And then do a little research and write down a list underneath each one, like a column, of other words that have that same sound. Okay, so you can make an entire list of rows, 10 rows of words that you need to practice that have difficult sounds for you. And if you put that in your pocket and carry it with you and open it up when you're in the elevator, open it up when you're in the back of the taxi or on the bus, open it up when you're at the park and try to practice those words. That's what I call your target accent improvement list.
Okay. Yeah, because you know that when I speak English in India, they say that you are speaking as foreign, means as a American, British, or in European countries people as they speak. So here I need to figure it out. Is it real? Is it true that I speak as similar as they are?
Similar to what?
As a native speaker, as a native of English speaker.
Well, I wouldn't say you sound, well, it's kind of hard to say, man, because I don't like the definition of native English speaker is such a weird thing to say. Because
No, just
there are some people who are born in some countries and they learn English, and that means that they're
No,
native speakers.
Yes, no. The reason is in my we can say the coaching. When I speak English, they say that you are just like foreign people, and in the sense of British and Americans and any kind of Australian, New Zealandian people.
Sonnet,
Kiwis.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. You're clear enough
Thank you.
for right now, but you do need to improve it more. Okay, because of course, language is never ending. We never get better. There's never an end to it where you say, "I'm done," right? And this is true for me too. Even my English, I continue to work on. Even though I'm a native speaker, I continue to try to learn vocabulary. I continue to try to improve my pronunciation. I continue to try to learn about etymology. I continue to try to increase and improve my grammar.
Yes.
Okay, that's my native language, but I still try to keep pushing myself. So, Sane, I think that you speak pretty well. I think you should focus on your pronunciation a little bit more because I think that you'd be able to clear it up a lot more pretty quickly if you just focus on it more. Okay? But you are pretty clear. Okay? And clarity is the first goal in language learning. If you can achieve clarity, that's the most important goal of language learning. Not perfection, clarity. Okay?
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for clearing. Yes. Thank you for clearing. I've faced a lot of the comment, not comment, the kind of satire while my speaking.
Well, don't worry about comments, just worry about yourself.
Yes. Thank you for because I need to clear every minute and every second that I'm not as a American and Britain. I'm as Indian and I speak Indian accent, not another accent.
Right, you do. But there's nothing wrong with that, Sane, because again, guess what? On my iPhone, you can have the voice of the phone. I can change the accent, right? And I can have an American accent on here. I can have a British accent on here. I can have an Australian accent on here. Or the other one they have on here is an Indian accent. I can have an Indian accent on my phone. If an Indian accent was bad, then why would they do that? Because there's nothing wrong with an Indian accent if it is clear. Okay? So you just have to make sure it is clear. Sharpen your accent. Sharpen it to be clear. Okay?
Okay.
All right, Sane?
Okay, thanks for clearing all the questions.
You're
I will
welcome,
be
my
back
friend.
and yeah, thank you.
Take care. I'll see you
God
next
bless you.
time.
Lots of happiness. Lots
Thank
of
you.
happiness from me to you.
Thank you very much, Sane. I'll talk to you next time, okay?
Good night from India.
Take care, my friend.
Okay, good night
Bye-bye.
from India.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Elsa says there are 44 sounds in English, but it's hard to learn it. It is, but I actually created my own system. When I was learning Chinese, they have the Bopomofo system, which is a system of phonics kind of for Chinese. And I thought, well, that's a really interesting way to do it. Why don't we have that? So I kind of created my own English system for that. But if you want to learn that, you probably need to take a private lesson from me because it takes a little bit of time for me to explain it. Do I want to learn phonics? So I know phonics, May. I teach it often. Okay. George was next. I need to talk to George. What time is it? It's 2 hours already. Hello, George from Suzhou.
Hello, Mark.
How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. What about you? It's my great pleasure to talk with you on Hello Talk.
Well, it's my pleasure to talk with you as well. Is there a question you have for me today or something I can help you with?
I don't have any question, but I do want to comment on what you mentioned just now because you talk with that Indian guy. That pronunciation is not, or Indian accents is also good. I agree with you on that because there used to be a UN secretary from South Korea. His accent sucks, but I think he speaks English very well.
Right.
I mean,
so that's the point. As I say this often here, I know that a lot of British people will probably disagree with me very vehemently, but in my opinion, English can be spoken perfectly well with any accent. I don't care what accent you have or where you come from. I kind of think that there's a certain amount of, it's called linguicism. Linguicism is a word that means judging people based on their language or their ability of language. And
Exactly.
when you tell everyone that you can't, like that the only way that's right is perfect, like, oh, well, if you don't speak exactly like a British person, then your language is not good. That's linguicism. That's elitist and it's ridiculous because the point of language is not to sound like you were born in that country. The point of language is to sound like you can communicate with people. So when we set that bar this high that you're supposed to sound like you're British, that's just ridiculous. I speak Chinese, but it never occurred to me. I never thought like, oh, well, I wonder if they think I was born in Beijing when I speak that. No, I never cared about that. The only thing I ever cared about is, do you understand my weird Chinese? Because it's weird because I taught myself mostly. So sometimes the way I say it is not the way you would say it, but I don't care as long as you understand me. And very rarely do people go, huh? Like usually when I speak Chinese, they go, oh, wow, he speaks pretty well. It just might be that maybe I use different words than you're used to hearing, but you still understand the vocabulary and my pronunciation is close enough that you can totally understand me. So anyway, British people, put it this way. If you're British and you're in my audience, I apologize, but you know what I'm talking about. There are British people who often say that the American accent is terrible and the British accent is the only good one. That's like saying rock music is the only good music. And that's a stupid argument to make. Every language has a different sound to it and they're all good. They're different. And if you compare them to each other and you say, oh, well, rock music is the only good music, well, then you're just judging things without context. because you don't understand jazz. That's exactly what it is. And it's really elitist and not good. Language is power. You understand? When you know a language, you have the ability to communicate with people. And if you know that language well, you can really motivate people to do the things you want them to do. So language has great power. And for thousands of years, people have known this and have used language to control people in different ways. And when you make language elitist by saying, well, unless you have a perfect British accent, it's not right. That's just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, especially if you know about the history of where the language comes from, and that English comes from many places. So the idea that the Brits are the only ones who have it right is really weird. Plus, I always like to tell them, like they say that their pronunciation is right. Ask them to pronounce the word garage. Because that word comes from French, and the French pronunciation is garage. And Americans pronounce it as garage, but they pronounce it as garage.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and schedule also is another one that they say schedule. And there is no etymological background for saying the SH sound in that word. It has always had a K sound to it. So, again, I only do that because I've heard it many times where they have this snobby, elitist attitude about language that I just can't bear. I won't take it. It's not right, and it's linguicism. It's a form of bigotry, in my opinion. Yeah.
I agree with you, Mark, and I think you are a great teacher because just like what you mentioned, a lot of native speakers, they try to tell the non-native speakers that you need to improve your accent, but only a few. I think only a few can speak like British accent or American accent.
Right. And
Yeah.
I tell people, look, if you want to do that, if you really, really want to do that, and that's your dream to speak like me, I'm not going to tell you can't do it. But I will tell you it's going to take you about 5 to 10 years of really hard work. But to get clarity can be done in 1 year.
Exactly. And it doesn't make any sense.
Right.
You speak like
Right.
you speak like British people, or you speak like a
Right.
American, right?
Like
Yeah,
maybe
yeah,
if you're going to be an actor, if you want to be an actor and maybe you need to pretend to be American or British or Australian, fine, maybe then. Or if you decide you want to go into news broadcasting, maybe then. But even that, again, in America, we have many people on the news who have accents.
Yeah.
Because
Thank you.
I always tell people, where are Americans from? I ask them that. Where are Americans from? We're from everywhere.
Yeah.
We're from everywhere. So if we are from everywhere, then every accent is an American accent. That's my opinion.
Yeah. Exactly. I always tell my friends, like, if you work in US, maybe your boss is an India, and you
That's
cannot
exactly
say that
right.
boss, your accent is not good.
That's exactly
Yeah.
right. When I go to the post office, the girl that I usually go to, she's Indian and she has an Indian accent. I don't care. Doesn't bother me at all. And my friend right up the street, good friend of mine from Taiwan. He's been here for 30 years, but I lived in Taiwan and I lived in the same city he's from. So we talk all the time. He still has an accent, but it doesn't matter because it's clear enough and he's been doing business here. He has a nice house here. His accent has not stopped him in any way, shape, or form. So
Okay.
I always tell people you don't have to get rid of your accent. You just need to sharpen it. It's just like a pencil. A pencil gets dull, and when it's dull, you can't write clearly. So you need to sharpen your accent. It doesn't mean to be perfect. It does need to be clear, though. That's the only thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
So,
Thank you, Mark, for
you're
the
welcome.
suggestion. Yeah. Also, I'm curious. Do you also teach kids because like I have a son who is in primary school. Like, can you teach like online?
I do, but I only accept a few students as kids now because here's the reason why. I don't teach the Chinese way. So if you want me to just go through books with your kid and push him really hard and be really, then I'm not that guy. But I have a new student who I just started teaching was it yesterday or 2 days ago? 2 days ago. His father is a teacher in China, and they live near Harbin. And I had to talk to his father for a while before I agreed to teach his son. And I told him, you have to understand, I have a different way of teaching, and I'm not going to change that. And if you want to hire me, you're hiring me. So you have to understand that, I have a lot of books and I can do all those kinds of things, but I focus on language effectiveness and not memorization and passing tests, So honestly, I'll tell them, if you want that, then you should have two teachers. Get the teacher that does the books and pushes him really hard, and then hire me to make sure he stays motivated and likes learning. That's the thing that I do. I am the good one that I have another Chinese kid I teach who I love teaching this kid. He's sick as a dog right now. He has a terrible cough. And I know his mom wanted to cancel his lessons, but he said no, because he likes actually learning with me. And that's what I like. I like kids who actually enjoy learning, and they usually do when they're with me. Not all the time, but usually they enjoy learning with me. I usually teach adults now, mostly. And that's because most of my tips are mostly concepts and, they're conceptual ideas that are better for adults who are learning and need improvement. It's not that I can't teach kids. Like I said, I was in Taiwan for 4 years, and that's what I did. Kindergarten, elementary school, junior high, high school, adults, all of it. So I can. But I just have to be clear with people, because sometimes I had one student whose mom didn't like the way I teach. And she was constantly telling me, well, you should do this, and you should do that, and you should do this, and you should do that. And I was like, no, this is not going to work. I'm the teacher. I know what I'm doing. If you want me, then you have to remember you're hiring me, So that's it. But I'll consider it. I'll consider it. If you want to talk to me about it, send me a message and we can talk about it later. But, or maybe you can do a trial and see how it goes. That's fine too,
Thank you for being so honest. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what I want to make sure about, is because, I did that kind of teaching for a long time in bushibans, and it was frustrating for me because I wanted to teach them the way I know that works, but they wouldn't let me. So yeah. Anyway, George, it was great to talk to you. And again, your English is great. Don't worry. You're fine. If somebody can't understand you, the problem is actually more on them than you. You should continue to keep working on it. I'm not saying you're perfect. There is no perfect. We always keep trying to be better, right? But you're doing very well.
Okay. Thank you, Mark, for your encouragement. I will talk to you privately about that topic. Thank you.
加油.
Yeah, and okay, thank you. Good evening.
Take care, my friend.
And good night.
Yeah, good night, my friend. 晚安. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Let's see. Do I teach at schools? Not now, I don't, Giovanna. I did in Taiwan a bit, but no. Now to be honest with you, I don't really want to teach in a school anymore, because the restrictions in schools are just too much. My techniques are very unique, and they just don't always fit with that. It's unfortunate, but the way schools work, they want a teacher who does it the way it's always been done. And I'm not that guy. That's exactly the opposite of what I do. I want to break all the traditions that I see that are not working. That's, I know my father says you're an iconoclast, which is too big of a word for me, but it means somebody who breaks traditions or sees something a different way. So that's why I have to be careful when people say, can I teach can you teach my kid? I can, if you let me do it my way. That's why I also tell them this. I have two prices for my lessons. one price is starting in March, it's $15 an hour and $15 a half an hour and $30 an hour. Or that's the price to do it my way. Okay, that's the price to do it my way. But to do it your way is double. So I'll teach you and I'll do it your way. If you want me to do it your way, however you want me to do it is fine, but it's going to cost you. My way, this much money. Your way, that much money. Right. They work in the system and you have to follow the rules, and that's not me. That's not me. I can, but I just don't think that that's the way to go. I teach the way I know that works. And yeah, anyway. Can I respond to which comment? I'm sorry, I missed a comment. What's the comment I'm supposed to respond to? Alex wanted to know something too. Let's see. Oh, Alex, yeah, I meant to send you a private message in Hello Talk. You still have my Hello Talk, don't you, Alex? Send me a private message there. Okay? Send me a message about that in Hello Talk, Alex. I should have made that more clear. I'm sorry. Okay, guys, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to check the comments here. Make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, who wants to come on stage now? I'm sorry I didn't get time to get to everybody. Do I have a recommendation for books for improving speaking skills? Maybe. There's a book called Speak English Like an American. I often use that one in my teaching, and it has dialogues that use a lot of English idioms and common phrasal verbs, and it lets you see how English, works and how we speak naturally, pretty much. Okay. Oh, you don't use Hello Talk now? Well, then where did you find me, Alex? Didn't you find me on Hello Talk? Well, that makes it a little bit more complicated, Alex. Alex, you're going to have to get Hello Talk. If you want to message me about that, you're going to have to get Hello Talk and just send me a private message, okay? It's a free app. You don't have to use it. Just get it so you can message me easily, okay? Because it's not easy for you to message me here in YouTube, and I need to send you links, which I can't do here in YouTube. So please message me on Hello Talk, and I will help you, okay? All right. Someone is asking how to subscribe to private lessons. If you go to my profile page, if you just click on my picture and go to my profile page, you should see lessons there, okay? If you don't see lessons there, you can also just talk to the Hello Talk team and say, how do I take lessons with Teacher Mark? And they will tell you how, all right? But you should be able to just click on my profile and you'll see where the lessons are that you can buy from me, okay? And, okay, Xiaofang, you want to come on stage still, Xiaofang? Can I type what? What was I supposed to type?
Hello, good
Hello,
evening,
Xiaofang.
Mark.
How are you? Good to see you again.
Yeah.
Are the children sleeping again?
Yeah.
Oh, there they are. So funny. Okay, let me write this book for them. Speak English like an American. And let me see.
After I got kids, I have never been one side, I
Yeah, that's the nature
I
of
really
being a
want
mom.
I really want to be a single person in one day without kids, without anyone. But it's luxury.
You need a break every
Requirement.
once in a while. The author of the book is Amy Gillette. 2 T's. So there's the name of the book that I was recommending there in the chat. Everybody, Speak English Like an American by Amy Gillette. So, did you have a question for me today? Or something you wanted to say? Well, you said you wanted to come on stage. I thought maybe you had something you wanted to, ask me about.
No, I just want to talk with you. I just want to improve our English.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, let's talk about that. Then how are you trying to practice your oral English? What do you do?
I want to use the opportunity and as much as I can. Yeah. I
Okay.
use this kind of live stream. Yeah.
Okay. Well, here's the other thing that I want to tell everybody is if you want to improve some aspect of your language, you need to have a plan. You need to sit down and actually think about what can I do to improve this thing, right? So you should write down speaking, oral English, and then try to think, okay, I could speak on Hello Talk live streams. That's good. But what else can I do? You need to have more than just one thing. That's never going to be good enough. You need to have many, okay? Anything that you're trying to practice, you need to have more than one way to practice. The more ways that you can have to practice, the more likely you will be successful. But if you only have one way to practice, the chances are that it's going to take a long time to be successful. I won't say you can't be successful that way, but if you only do it one way, it's going to take a much longer time. Okay? So then you need to just sit down and think. And here's what I tell people for speaking practice. Step 1, try to find a native speaker, like on these live streams, okay? Or if you live in a big city, there are natives there. You just have to go find them, okay? How can you find them? It's very easy. What city are you in? I forgot, Xiaofang.
Hangzhou.
Okay, so there are definitely some foreigners in Hangzhou. I'm sure of it. Okay, so how can you find them? You need to look online and do a search for which restaurant in Hangzhou has the best burger or has the best pizza. And go there on a weekend, and there will be foreigners there. Okay, I promise you. That's the way it works. Anyone who moves to another country, they want to find the food that makes them happy. They find the food that makes them comfortable, right? So it's not that they don't eat local food, they do. But sometimes they want something that feels like home. So if you move to my city, I'm sure that within the first month, you're going to find the Asian market and you're going to find the best Chinese restaurants to eat at. That's what everyone does.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
So
you
the
are.
same
Yeah.
thing is true for an American. If I move there, then yeah, I'm going to find where's the best burger, where's the best pizza, and I'll go there to get some on the weekend probably. Okay. So go there and you can just say, hey, I'll buy somebody a beer or French fries or a burger if you practice English with me for an hour or half an hour, something like that.
But to be honest, I like talking, and I like talking with you because I can, and I can almost understand in 95% of your pronunciation. But sometimes I can't understand the others native
Well-
speaker, so it's very strange. But I can understand you. I don't know if you just lower your level and it just uses the easy vocabulary.
It's many reasons. There are many reasons why people always say that here. But one reason is because my accent happens to be more neutral. It's one of the more neutral accents in English. Okay, so in America, this is the most neutral accent, which means it's the most clear, right? Then I'm a teacher. It's my job to speak well, and I do my best to try to speak as clearly as possible all the time. And I also have really nice equipment that makes it. I bought the best equipment that I could afford in order to do this because I wanted to sound as clear as possible. So if you don't have this kind of equipment, like watch, if you're in a room that has a lot of noise in the room, it will sound more like this. So now when you hear me, it's a little more difficult to understand because you hear all that reverb. And a lot of rooms have reverb. But if you don't and you take it off, it's so clear. Look at that. Okay, so
Yeah,
there
it's
are many,
worse,
many
yeah.
reasons why you can understand me. And yes, I do speak a little bit more slowly, and I do try to use simple language most of the time. Why? Because simple language is the best language. It's the most effective language, and it's not exclusionary. Sometimes when you use big words, what's the point if nobody understands it or if someone doesn't understand it? Okay, and I mean, there is a time and a place for those words, but I kind of look at it like jazz music. You know, I love jazz music, but it's not always appropriate. Sometimes rock music is good because it's simple and everybody understands it, right? So that's another reason why. But, Xiaofang, if you don't go to try, then you won't know if you're improving. So you should go try to speak with some other foreigners and see, hey, well, look at that. I think I understand him more now. Okay? So you never know unless you try.
Yes, yes, yeah.
Okay? And it's important. It's important to try to hear the language from many different people because not everyone is going to sound like me.
Yeah, if everyone sounded like you, it will be easier.
Well, yeah. Anyway, but again, it's my job to sound clear. And I don't sound like this all the time. You know, sometimes when I'm hanging out with my friends, no, I speak in a different way. I'm a little bit faster. I use more slang. I'm probably not so clear because I don't need to be. But when I'm teaching, it's one of the reasons why I insist everyone call me Teacher Mark. Okay, because when people call me Teacher Mark, I'm in teacher mode. I have to be a teacher, right? And you have to act that way. It's important. When you're in front of a classroom, you can't be the same thing that you are when you're just hanging out at home completely, you know? So there are a lot of things I don't talk about here, just like I wouldn't in my classroom, you know? Like if your kids are studying with me, I'm not going to start talking about American politics or religion or some things like that. Those are topics that are not appropriate for most classrooms for learning English, at least. You know, if you're studying religion, you're studying politics, that's different. But, you know, you have to learn how to change the way you, it's called code switching. Code switching means that you have to be a different person depending on where you are. You have to change the way you speak and the way you act depending on where you are. And that's life. You can fight against code switching by saying, no, I just want to be me everywhere. But it just doesn't work that way, you know? So that's why I told the previous, what was his name? I forgot now. Oh, shoot. Anyway, the guy who wanted me to teach his son, I refuse to do that kind of code switching anymore in classrooms because I don't want to teach that old way anymore. I don't find that to be effective. And I also, to be honest with you, it's not enjoyable for me either. You know, I know another girl who teaches English now in Taiwan, and she's a great teacher. And she did have a job at a school where they let her do whatever she wanted, the way she wanted to do it. And she was so happy. But then that school closed down or something. And now she's back working at another, you know, standard bushiban, I think. And she's miserable. She's really sad because they make her do it the old way and they insist that there is no other way. And you know what I mean. In China, tradition is very important. So if you did it, you know, when we come in to teach, they say, well, you have to do it the way that I did it and the way that my father did it and the way that my grandfather did it. You have to do it that way. That's the way we've been doing it. But traditions are not always good forever. You have to reevaluate every tradition to see if it's still valuable now. There are many traditions in the world that we used to do that we don't do anymore. Women mostly used to not work, right? But they do now.
Yes.
Right? We reevaluated that and said, well, that doesn't really make any sense and that's not fair, so let's not do that anymore, okay? At least most places, right? So, again, traditions are something that sometimes needs to be reevaluated and just reconsidered, that's all, and see if it still works for you or not. And what I'm saying is that education needs to be always changing. It always needs to be adapting and growing and staying on the edge. It cannot be traditional. It really can't. It has to stay
Yeah,
modern.
agree with you.
Yeah. So when you insist that teachers continue to do things the way they've been done,
Yeah, because nowadays the technology changes very fast.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And language changes fast and, everything. No, I mean, it's the whole thing. Every
Custom.
subject. Yeah, every subject,
yeah.
science and history and our understanding of history has changed, right? So when I was a kid, they taught me this thing, but now I know it was actually this way, different, right? So history, science, math, all of those things are adapting and changing. None of them are the same as they were 100 years ago. They're all different. And
Yeah, and
Yeah.
now there is a new ChatGPT. How do you think ChatGPT? Because some people told me, as for some subjects such as art and painting and music, maybe or even lawyer, so maybe it's not necessary.
So
to
here's what
need
I'll
them
say
in
about
future.
Yeah, here's what I'll say about that. I do think that eventually AI will probably replace some jobs. Some jobs, I think. Like, for example, it's already replacing a lot of programming, coding people. Coding. Why? Because it definitely can do coding better than humans can. It can. It's just working on it's mathematically much faster than we could ever be. And it doesn't need to sleep. So, it can work forever, right? But I'll tell you this. In 1978, I think it was, they created the first electronic drum machine, okay? And when they created that drum machine, they said, in 30 years and 40 years, there won't be any drummers anymore. All drumming will be electronic. But guess what? I'm still here. I'm still a drummer, and everybody still plays drums. So, will AI replace some things? Yes, but here's the secret. If you're not creative, if the thing you do is not creative or unique in some way, then you might be replaced. But if you have a creative way of doing something, then you're probably okay because it can't do creativity, okay? It can do algorithms that mimic creativity. So put it this way. It can make music and it can make art. But here's the thing that's missing. Art and music are about expression. They're about someone making something that's inside them come out. But AI has nothing to come out. It doesn't have any emotions. It doesn't have anything to tell or any lessons to teach. It can only do what you tell it to do. So, will AI art and music become a thing? Yeah, mostly because of greed, right? So TV music and movies, those kinds of things will start to be AI music. But for people who pay attention, they will realize it's not that good. It's not that good. It's better when humans do it. Humans can put expression on things in a way artistically that I don't think it ever will be able to do. I really don't. When you go see a painting in the museum and you look at it, it's supposed to make you feel something. And it's supposed to make you wonder a little bit, what was the artist thinking? But you can't do that with AI. When you see AI art, it might make you think a little bit, but there's no soul. It's missing. It can't speak to you because there is no person to speak to behind it. right? Same thing with the music. They've been making garbage, computer music for a long time, actually. Creating music on a computer is actually not difficult. Almost anyone can do that, okay? I hate to say this, but DJing, some people can become DJs, and within 1 year, you can learn how to be a pretty good DJ. But that's because it's not that hard. No offense to
Yeah,
DJ.
DJ is not so hard.
Well, okay, let me put it to you this way. Compared to learning an actual musical instrument, it's not. No.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm no offense to any DJs who are out there, and I'm not saying I don't like DJ music sometimes. It's fun occasionally, right? But the skills that they have are interesting and they are hard, but not learning how to play a piano well takes a long time. Learning how to play the drums well takes a long time of dedicated effort and skill. But I don't know anybody who's a DJ who didn't become pretty good within 6 months to a year. They all became really pretty good within a very short time. Why? Because what they're doing is not the same as what we do. We actually create music from nothing. They layer music that already exists. Right? So they find a beat that's already been made by a drummer. They find some music that's already been made by a band, and they put them together. And that's creative and that's interesting, but that's not as difficult as actually learning how to play that beat and actually learning how to play that music. That's, again, I'm biased because I'm a musician, so that's the way I see it. I think that DJs have their place, but again, I don't think they're going to replace musicians. No. Music will always still be something that humans do better, in my opinion. Art will always be something that humans do better. But I will say this. You, the audience, you need to start thinking more about what you take in. Meaning, like, some people ask me about pop music and do you like BTS or do you like Justin Bieber or do you like this? And usually I say not really. And they get a little angry with me. But the reason why is because, again, I'm a professional musician. And here's what I'll ask them. If you ask me something like, do you like BTS? And nothing against BTS. If you like BTS, that's great. I'm not telling you anything. But I am telling you this. How many bands have you ever listened to? If you've only listened, like, it's basically like saying, if you've only gone to McDonald's and that's the only burger you know, then you cannot say that's the best burger in the world. Okay? If you've only read one book, you can't say that's the best book in the world.
Yes.
Right? So I've listened to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands and thousands of different bands, different musicians from all time periods, all musicians, all styles. So now my view of music is much grander and greater than yours. And that doesn't mean that it's better. I'm just saying that I have a wider view. Right? So
Yeah, I agree with you.
so
Yeah.
that means that when you ask me about BTS, I think, man, no, I listen to stuff that's way more touching to me. And there's depth to what I listen to. It goes back in time and history. And, pop music is called pop music because it means popular. And there's a difference between popular music and other kinds of music. When they make pop music, most of it, pop music is different because when we make music, we make the music that we like for us. And you might not like it. And guess what? We don't care if you don't like it. It's art. It's not supposed to be for everyone. But pop music is not necessarily art. It's more entertainment. Okay, I'm not saying it can't be art too, but sometimes it's more just entertainment. It's meant to be easy to listen to, easy to understand, not challenging to you. But when I listen to music, I want it to be challenging to me. I want it to make me think. I want it to inspire me in some way. Now, occasionally I like to listen to something very simple, you know. There's a great band called AC/DC, one of the greatest rock bands of all time. And all of their songs are extremely simple and easy and straightforward. And that's so much fun sometimes. But again, that's something that I listen to sometimes. But I also listen to jazz music and classical music and funk music and Brazilian music and Indian music. I listen to a lot of different music. So when people ask me, what's your favorite song? I can't choose. I know too many.
Yeah.
I know too many.
Me either. Yeah, me either.
Yeah. So again,
Yeah.
anybody who asks me about things like Justin Bieber or BTS, please don't be offended. You have to understand, you only know this many bands. You only know this view. You have a view of music that's this big. But if you start listening to a lot more, your views might change a little bit. Okay? That's
Yeah, you are expert of music. Yeah, because you are a musician.
I won't say an expert, but maybe a good word. Here's a good word you can learn. It's a aficionado. Aficionado. It means, it's kind of like expert. It means somebody who's very, very well versed. They know a lot about that thing. Aficionado.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, wow, I didn't know that I was going to start teaching about that. But that was a good question about AI. And I just read an article about who was that artist? It's a Japanese artist, if I remember right. I can't remember his name now, but he's a really famous Japanese artist, and he hates AI art with a passion. He hates it, and he thinks it's absolutely terrible because of the things I just described. That's why I'm trying to tell you as an audience that if you care about music and you care about art, then you need to be the one that understands when you see AI art, okay, fine, but it's a DJ. No, or I shouldn't say that. That's too rough. I'll just say you can look at it, but you should think of it as something different. You should think of it as something different that's not human art. Human art has real value of emotion and depth of expression. AI art and music is just pretending to be that. You understand? It's not the same. It's just pretending to
Yeah.
be human.
Yeah, I think human art are touched. Music
Yeah.
is are touched.
Yeah, and again, when you hear a song that's really great,
Have temperature. But the art music is cold.
that's right. When you hear a song that's really great, you think about that person who wrote that song. How can you do that with AI?
Yeah.
You can't, right? When you see a great artist, a painting.
Co-echo. I don't know how to say it, but co-echo. Co-echo for
Co-echo.
human.
Oh, yeah,
For
yeah, right.
human.
Oh, yes,
And
that's
yeah.
right. Yeah, yeah, that's right. It has no. Well, the word I want to use is animus. There's no energy to it. There's no
Common, yeah.
There's no
Common feeling. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. And so, yeah, when you see a piece of art, you look at it and you think, what was that artist thinking when he painted the Mona Lisa? What was Da Vinci thinking? You know, why? Why did he do it that way? What does it mean? But AI, it's just like a math. It's just like a math program.
Yeah, you don't want to. You do want to deep. You don't want to deep
Yeah.
the inside of the
Right.
painting. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And again, I think AI has its place. I use ChatGPT often, but every tool that comes along, every new tool that we get can be used well or not, right? So for example, sometimes parents will say to me, my children, they play on the phone too much. They play games on the phone too much. Okay, well, there's a difference between playing on the phone too much and playing games on the phone too much. Playing games on the phone too much, yeah, that's probably bad. But playing on the phone, it depends on how you're playing. The phone you use is a very powerful tool that can be used to do many things that are beneficial or positive for you. Or you can just spend all your time playing Candy Crush. So if you're learning and you're growing and you're exploring culture and you're improving yourself, then let the kid play. Let the kid play as much as he wants. That's my opinion. But, it just depends on how you use the tool. Every tool is only as good as its user.
Yes. Okay. You asked me, do I have a question? I have one question now because yesterday I talked with you and you said you are busy take care of your father or parents. So are there any problem about your father?
Well, I don't want to get in too much into my personal life that way, but they're older and they just need more help around the house. I'll say that much. So I do most of the heavy stuff here, and I cook almost all the meals. And
you cook almost you cook meals.
yeah, I'm a great cook.
Okay, but I feel a little strange because you are adult and you are still live with your parents.
Well, not still. Let's put it this way. I was living in Taiwan and I was teaching English there and I had a great life. And I had been there for 4 years and I hadn't been home in a long time. That was in 2020. I came home to visit and then COVID happened.
Oh, okay.
And so I got stuck here because of COVID. And while I was here, I decided, well, my parents they need more help now. They need a lot more help. And I'm in a position that I can do that. My sister's living far away and she has her own life. And my brother has a family and he's busy. I'm single. I can do anything I want anywhere. So if I can, then of course I will. And so that's why I'm doing these live streams and why I'm teaching online at home now, because it allows me to stay here and help them now. And I think my sister might be moving at some point so she can come help too. But I don't feel bad about what I'm doing because they need the help.
That's good because I heard. Because in my opinion, Americans always separate with parents when they get
and to be honest
adults.
with you,
And if parents get illness or need help, they always send to the center, not.
Well, at some point they will probably, but they're not that bad yet. Right? So at some point in time, they want to sell this house and they want to move into a smaller place, probably in a retirement community. Okay, so we have a bunch of different levels of that. Okay, that's something maybe some people don't understand. There are retirement communities that's just a group of houses or small condominiums where everybody is an older person. So it's a nice little neighborhood of older people who live together, and that way they all feel a little more comfortable around each other, right? And they have friends. They can make friends with people who are a similar age and similar ideas and similar whatever, right? And then maybe they need more nursing care because they're getting older, they have health problems. Then we have other nursing homes where you can go, and there are different levels of it. Maybe you only need a little bit of care. And so you go there for a little while and there are a bunch of people living there. Again, it's a community. That's the one thing that is different that you don't understand. Sorry, one moment. Come back. Sorry, Xiaofeng. So what you don't understand is there is a positive value to this because sometimes when older people live, especially in China, sometimes they live alone or they're they're with their family. But other than their family, they don't have a lot of social, contact with a lot of other people. But if you move into a building where there's a bunch of people all like you, and they have a lot of activities they do together, like they play games together, they watch movies together, they have, that's a community. There's some value in that so that they're not feeling alone. And that's the most important part. And of course, we visit them. We go visit them often, when we can. So right now, my aunt and my uncle are both in one of those care facilities because they both have dementia. And dementia means they've forgotten so many things. They can't remember anything anymore. I forgot how to say that in Chinese.
Yeah, I know that's a kind of retirement community because in China we have as well. But as for Chinese, the adults don't want to go there. They
Right,
don't.
but I think it's cultural. It takes time. It's just it hasn't become normalized there yet. And again, it wasn't that way here for a long time either. This didn't happen until I think the 70s, 80s, 90s. That's when it became more common and more popular here.
I think as for me, if I got older, I prefer go to the retirement community because I want my children have their own life and I don't want to
That's exactly right.
interrupt
That's
their
exactly
life
right. That's
very
exactly
much.
right.
That's my opinion.
That's
Yeah.
right. So again, that's the way that they feel here too. Is I know my father and my mother both want me to do whatever I want to do. They're happy that I'm able to do something like this here, and that they know this makes me happy. But this is again, I mean, I hate saying this because I never mention these things about my parents because I don't want anybody to feel bad or whatever. But yeah, it's one of the other reasons why I'm so serious about doing this and why I want to be successful, because I need to be, because I'm here and I'm taking care of them. And so if I can be successful here doing this, then it means that I can take care of them more easily and better, and they don't worry about me. So
And
they
don't
know.
feel guilty because they maybe think they waste your time and
Right. And they know that I feel, like I have.
they feel guilty. Yeah.
Well, they don't feel guilty right now, I don't think, because they know that I love what I'm doing with this. They know that I get a lot of value from doing my teaching, and they know I'm good
But
at it.
if you are more successful, they will be very happy. Yeah.
Exactly.
I can stand your position. Yeah.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I dream about it often. I dream about if I can make this successful, I want to bring my parents on here so that they can see, that I finally was able to do it, And again, my father watches regularly. He watches my streams often. And they both know, my mom and dad both know, that I'm talented at what I do, that I'm good at what I do, that it's unique. And they support that because they know it's not common. They know it's not so often that somebody has something like I have, a passion like I have. So they've always supported my passions, and I do love them for that. They've tolerated the fact that I'm difficult that way, that I can only do the things I love, and they've allowed me to be that way. So I do appreciate that. But yeah, again, they're not that. They're not in a terrible health state, or anything like that. But they need a lot more help than if I weren't here. It would be hard for them. If I wasn't here, it would be hard for them. I mean, this is a pretty big, house, and or it's not super big, but it's big enough. And I have to cut the grass, and I have to deal with all the yard work and the garden and the firewood and any housework that's big that needs to be done. And we have an aging dog now that sometimes needs extra help too. And so again, I never talk about these things. I really don't,
If I make you hard, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I don't mind too much. I just don't want anyone to feel like I don't want to be a pity case. Like I want to be successful because people believe in what I'm doing, and they like
Oh,
my
Mark,
teaching.
I think you definitely you will be successful because I think you are already success because I think you are the most patient most patient teacher in Hello Talk.
Well, I
Yeah,
appreciate that. Again, sometimes when people say I'm so patient, I know my dad is up there laughing. Because when I'm not teaching, maybe I'm not always patient as I could be. But yeah, it depends on how you define success, right?
yeah,
When people ask me what is success, I tell them doing what makes your heart smile. That is success. Doing what makes your heart smile. But I live in America and it's an expensive place. And money is a way of life. Unfortunately, I don't like it, but it's the way it is. So that's why I push so hard, because I do need to make this work. Because if I don't, then yeah, I will probably just go back to Taiwan at some point, or maybe some other place and teach again. And that's good too. That's okay. But I think I'm better at this. I think I'm making a bigger difference here. I have 63,000 followers around the world. In almost every country in the world, someone has listened to my advice. That makes me feel good. Not like I'm bragging good. I like helping people. It makes me feel better as a human being. It's almost like therapy for me. I like to help people and improve their
yeah.
lives
You
through
you
language.
you influence more people.
Right, that's right. So I can go to a classroom and I can be a good teacher, and those kids will love me and their parents will love me. That's great. And I love doing that too. But look what I can do. And that's why I'm saying I want to go to my YouTube channel. Please go to my YouTube channel, because that's how I can make money, is on YouTube. I can't really make any money here on Hello Talk, unfortunately. I tried to talk to them about that, but they're not interested in doing anything like that, I guess. So I have to do other things. That's why I do all my live streams here and on Hello Talk now. So,
Oh, so they can also check you. We can also check you on the YouTube. Yeah,
Yeah.
at the YouTube chat.
yeah.
But I can't. Yeah, but I can't.
Yeah. Well, but I have a friend in China who I need to talk to soon. His name is Bruce, and he's Chinese, and he likes my streams too. And he agreed to try to get a Bilibili account and maybe a Douyin account and maybe a Redbook account for me, where he'll upload my videos there. Okay. Everybody who's asking for my YouTube, Islam Mohammed just posted it for me. He's my buddy. There it is right there. That's my YouTube channel that Islam just posted. So you can go to that. It's AFIEC English. Okay, AFIEC English. And what does AFIEC mean? It means a friend in every corner. A friend in every corner. Because I have followers and friends all over the world now. And that's
Yeah.
always been my dream, to do that kind
It's
of thing.
amazing. Yeah, I think it's amazing if there are a lot of followers. You will think you have the power. You have the power influence others.
Well, it does make me
Yeah.
feel a little bit good to know that whatever happens to me, that my words might actually continue to go on. That's what they say about teaching, is that you never know where a teacher's influence ends. So if you hear my words and you like my words, then you might pass your words on to your kids, and they might pass those words on to another. And so you never know where a teacher's influence ends,
Yeah. Yeah.
And my teacher, one of my teachers who influenced me when I was in the 5th grade, I'm in contact with him still. And one of these days I want to bring him back. I want to bring him here onto my stream, because he was one of the guys who first influenced me as a teacher. He was the first great teacher I had. And now I want him to see
Meaningful. Yeah.
I want him to see that how his inspiration now gave this, to so many people around the world. I made a list the other day of where my followers are. China, Libya, Yemen, Algeria, Sudan, Egypt, Pakistan, Iraq, Mexico, Saudi Arabia, Iran, the Philippines, Turkey, Thailand, Nicaragua, Somalia, France, Brazil, Indonesia, Afghanistan. There's like 120 countries so far. And that's pretty amazing. That's pretty amazing. It does make me feel good. In that way, I'm already successful, and that's amazing. But I need to have that one little bit more of financial success. And I'm not trying to be rich. I just am trying to make sure that my parents don't worry.
I understand. Yeah.
That's all. I don't want to be rich. I just want to make sure they don't worry. That's all. So yeah, but
You're so good. You're not so good.
well, maybe. I don't know. But again, look, I love cooking, so it's not that bad. I cook the meals and they enjoy them, and it's great.
Okay, since you love cooking, I would ask you the last question because I don't want to take it too much time. I love eating steak, but I want to try how to cook the steak because after the steak I cook the steak is very hard to
Yeah.
eat. I want the steak very
Well, I have a
soft.
surprise for you. Recently I had a steak. So there's a kind of steak called a tomahawk steak in America, and it's a really big steak that has the bone still in it. And we call it a tomahawk steak because the American Native Indians a long time ago, they used to use a kind of axe and like a hand axe for a weapon. And it looked, so this steak kind of looks like an axe because it's got the big bone sticking out of it. And they're usually really expensive, and so I've never bought one because they're too expensive. I can't, spend that much money and justify it. But they had one that was on sale so cheap that I decided to finally buy one and try it, and I'll show you pictures. And it came out, it was delicious. Oh, wait, one moment. Okay, so let me share this really quickly. So here's the secret. The secret of cooking a steak. There are two important secrets about cooking a steak. The first one is you have to take the steak out and leave it out at room temperature for maybe 30 minutes to an hour before you cook it. Okay? And the reason why is because if you cook a cold steak, then it's going to be cold in the middle, or you're going to have to overcook it. But if you let it come to room temperature, then it's already half cooked. Now you just have to cook the outside a bit, and then the inside will be perfect. That's step one. Step two, you have to let the meat rest after you cook it. This is a weird thing, but here's what happens. There's a scientific reason for this. When you cook any kind of meat, those meats are made of fibers like this, okay? And when they're loose, they're like this. But as you cook them, they get tight like this, right? And if you finish cooking the steak and then you take it off and you cut it, it's still tight. But if you let it sit for 5 to 7 minutes, those fibers will loosen back up. And then you cut it, and it's soft and juicy and delicious. So take a look at my steak here, everybody. Hold on. And again, this is the first time I didn't want to show this steak because it's so big. It's like, oh my God, he must be rich or something. But this was like about $20 US, which is expensive, but that's enough for 4 people. One steak, 4 people. It's huge.
My God.
Yeah, it was, let me think, 1.3 kg, I think, about 1.2, 1.3 kg. Yeah, that's big. So here is this tomahawk steak, everybody.
Oh.
Okay, yeah, see,
Okay.
it looks kind of like an axe, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and there it is on the grill. Okay, and you can see this thing that's sticking out of it. That's a thermometer to make sure it's the right temperature when I cook it. And there's some green beans we had, and some Brussels sprouts we had, and now here's the baked potatoes. And
Oh, yeah, Mark, you are really good at cooking. I can see it. Oh, I like it because I think the color is very,
Oh, yeah.
attractive.
Yeah, it's delicious. It was amazing. And look at that. It's cooked perfectly. It came out really, really well. So there you go. That was a few days ago we had that. Yeah, it was delicious. So,
Yeah.
Anyway, so, look, I look at like this. My parents cooked meals for me for many years. So now I'm cooking for them. And I'm glad that I can cook well for them now, because that is one thing that I don't like about those nursing homes. When we send them to the nursing homes, usually the food is not that great, So
Yeah.
I'm glad that I can give them good food now, and really, I try to make as much good food for them as I possibly can. So, no, Sarah, that's not meat for one person. That one steak is enough for 4 people. 4 people. It's called a tomahawk steak. And no one person should eat that much meat. But yeah, it was delicious. It was so delicious. Yeah, but anyway, no, I love to cook. I started cooking when I was about 11 or 12, the same time when I started playing drums. So, yeah, cooking is fun for me.
Yeah. Today I cook not steak, but it's also the meat from a cow. And yeah, but I just boil it. But the smell is so well, I don't know how to say it in English. Too 腥, fish. Fish. If
yeah,
you
yeah,
cannot
yeah.
fish well, is
That's because when you cook meat, did it have the bone on it?
no
No
bone.
bones?
All
Okay. The
yeah.
fat, some of the fat in that, when you cook meat at a high temperature and you boil it, some of that fat releases some chemicals that will smell bad. Yeah.
chemical.
Well, it's not chemical. Well, I mean, they're chemicals, but it's
I
natural.
think I just
It's
didn't
natural.
clean it well. I think there's some blood inside.
Well, that's
I
what
don't
I'm
know.
saying. The blood is what that does. So there's a process. There's a kind of thing called demi-glace that we make in Western cooking, in French cooking, and it's a meat sauce, but it's a very condensed meat sauce that takes a long time to make, and you make it with a bunch of bones and everything. And the process of making it, when you cook it, all that blood from the bones comes out, and it smells bad at first. Like, it's like, oh, this is terrible. Like, I'm sure many people thought they ruined it when they were making it, but no, that's just the process of cooking it. Eventually it'll change the smell, and yeah, it's kind of like a marrow note. Yeah, marrow has that little bit of weird funkiness to it, the bone marrow inside the bones. So anyway, yeah. And well, look, actually I did another one. Let me show you guys. You guys want to see another one? We also
I
had,
think it's 腥. I don't know. I don't know how to say it. You fish.
I know
all
what it
have-
is. I know exactly what the
Yeah.
smell you're talking about is. Yeah. It's a fishy smell. Yeah. We say fishy. Yeah. So the other day we also, I've been cooking too much red meat for them recently, but only because it was on sale. Like when it's on sale, I buy it and it's like, okay, we'll make some meat. But one of my other kinds of favorite meat is roast beef, which means it's a big piece of beef, but it's not the nicest cut, so it's kind of tough. That means you have to cook it for a long time, slowly, to get it to be really juicy and not tough. And I made one the other day that came out really, really good. Let me see if I can
Yes,
show it.
beef. Yeah, beef. Yeah.
Yeah, this is beef. Yeah, let me see. 1,
beef,
2,
yeah.
3, 4, 5. There. Let me.
It's my first time. It's my first time do the beef, and it's so smell.
Well, boiling it is not usually the best way. Boiling is not usually the best way. But you know what's funny is that Chinese food, they don't usually cook things the same way we do, because Chinese medicine, they say that you shouldn't have anything charred, right? Nothing that's blackened, because it's cancerous. And you're right, it's true. Anything blackened is cancerous, but you would have to eat a lot to get cancer from that. And I'll be honest with you, the taste is so good that I'll risk
Yeah.
it. I'll risk the
Yeah, the
cancer.
way I don't fry, because I'm good at fry. As for Chinese, we always with boil or some not.
Right. That's
yeah.
right. Yeah. So here's the roast beef that I did the other day too. And again, this is a huge piece of meat that's not for one dinner. It's meant for like a bunch of dinners, right? So I cooked it here, and now the picture's sideways, but you can see it's, again, nice and, ooh, there you go. That's perfect.
Yeah.
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 It came out
Yummy.
deliciously. Yeah, it was
Yummy.
absolutely delicious. So, again, I like cooking and I'm good at it. So it's my gift to them, that I can do that for them, that they can have some good food, not just some food. And my father's a great cook too.
Your parents are so lucky have you. Yeah.
I hope so. So, yeah, but my father is actually a fantastic cook. He's a fantastic cook. My mom's pretty good too. My mom is good at cooking the big dinners. Like when we have a Thanksgiving dinner, she's good at that. But
It's very tired, If you
yeah,
cook for Thanksgiving or Christmas or Spring Festival, there are too many people,
yeah, I usually have to do those now.
God, you're great. I cooked my Spring Festival this year because my mother-in-law always did that before, but my mother-in-law went to hometown, so I have to cook for my family. I'm so tired. I'm not good at cook.
Well, it takes practice, just like anything else. It takes practice. And again, I always tell people that that's why it's good to have more than one talent. Don't think of yourself as one thing. It's weird. It's weird if you say, I'm only this. You're not. You're a human being. Human beings are adaptable. If we're adaptable, then that means you have more than one ability. If we only had one ability, we would never have survived as a species. So, what I'm saying is that you guys like my teaching ideas, right? For English? Well, that's because almost all those come from music. If I weren't a musician, I wouldn't have those ideas to teach you, right? And when I'm a musician, a lot of the ideas I get from music come from cooking, because the same ideas about cooking work for music. You have to season things properly. If you put in too much, it doesn't taste good. Same thing with music.
The measurement are always too much salt, a little salt. I think keep the balance is very, very important.
Right.
Just to keep a balance. Sometimes too much materials, too much
Same-
oil. I always
Right.
make wrong, so
Right.
make me feel bad.
That's the same thing as music. You have to know when to play what and how much is too
Yeah.
much and how much is not enough. It's seasoning.
Yeah, you have to control it very well. Not too much, not too less.
That's right. And you have to pay attention. You can't walk away and let it burn, So
Yes,
again,
yes.
being a good cook makes me a better musician. Being a better musician makes me a better teacher. So having more than one skill is really the most important thing that I can tell you in this day that we live in. With AI, if you don't want to be replaced and you don't want to worry about that, then you need to try to think about, how can I use my other talents, my other skills? How can I do that? That's important now. And that's why I don't worry too much. I don't worry about me.
You are so clever. I can see you're very clever and you like try new things. Yeah.
Well, that's true. Yeah. Well, that's because I'm kind of difficult sometimes, so I have to do it my way. I wish that weren't true, but it is. I can be a very difficult person sometimes because I like to do it the way I think it should be done. And I usually have a good idea about how I want things done. My sister's the same way. Oh, okay, so I'm not the only good cook in my family. My sister is a chef, actually, too. And she's a pastry chef. So she makes breads and cakes and, she does everything. But let me show you how talented she is, because she's way more talented than I am at cooking. I know I have some pictures here somewhere. Here, let me just take a few and send them so you guys can see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She makes, she doesn't do it anymore. She used to. She made wedding cakes mostly. and she makes the most beautiful wedding cakes you've ever seen in your life.
Oh, wedding cakes.
Yeah. So take a look at these wedding cakes.
Yeah, wedding cakes is more complicated and delicate. Yeah.
Yeah, very, 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 very delicate and complicated. So take a look at these. Like I said, I think I'm a good cook, but when she does this stuff, it's like art. Like, good Lord, how did you do that? I don't even know how she does it, to be honest with you. It's too much. Okay, take a look at this, everybody. There's one cake she made. And another.
Oh, amazing. My God.
And another.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's art.
And you see that flour on top? That's made from sugar.
Sugar. Oh,
It's not a real flour.
Can eat it too, yeah?
You can eat it, yeah.
My God.
All of those flowers,
Oh.
those are sugar flowers.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. She's pretty amazing. Yeah, look at that. All of
Talent.
those flowers
She is
are all sugar.
talent.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So she's pretty amazing at what she does. Look at that one.
Yeah, the wedding cake is very important in
Yeah.
American wedding, yeah?
Yeah, it is. It is pretty important usually. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, she's really good at what she does. And again, we're similar that way, that we both are kind of stubborn and have this, we know what we want to do, and you just have to let me do it the way I want, and then it'll come out like that, but you know, that's why we have.
You have the same DNA, your father's DNA.
Yeah, well, yeah, it is something like that. My father is very particular about some things, he never forgets anything. And he's very detailed, and he knows how to do everything in a very detailed way. So we all have our own little aspect of that, and my brother's really good at it too. He's a computer science guy, and he's really good at his job, and he's, got a great job, and he's moved way up the ladder because, how good he is at that too. And he actually, turned out to be a really fantastic father too. He's got 3 great kids. My nephews are really wonderful, and they're really smart and really talented. And so, yeah. Anyway, though, like I said, we have a certain way of doing things, and that's why I said I've never worked in an office before, because I just can't. I just can't.
Because you want freedom.
Well, I have my way of doing things,
Yeah, you want to your way. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, I when someone sees that they can let me do that and that's the best, then it's great. But like I said, so I worked in schools and I had to do it their way, and I can, but then I'm always not happy because I know I can do better. So
Yes, you can. Yeah. At least I think you are few successful teacher in Hello Talk. Yeah.
I hope so. I mean, people say it, and that's great when they say it, and I'm happy that people like it, but it's always one of those things where great people never say they're great. If you call yourself great, that's not a good thing, because then you'll stop trying. So I'm glad that people think I'm good at what I do, but I never want to feel like I'm that great, because I always want to feel like I can continue to be better. And that's again, that's how musicians are too. The more we learn and the better we get, the more we see how much there is to learn. Right? It's like climbing a mountain. When you get to the top of the mountain, now you can see the view, and you can see how much more of the world there really is. Right? So that's the way learning is. It should always make you feel like no matter how much you get, no matter how far you get, you should always feel like proportionately the distance that you need to go actually increases more and more the more you get, the more talented you become, or the more work you do. the effort you put in.
Yeah, yeah. And in China, there's all the saying. There are the mountains, outside the mountains. There are the people, outside the people.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So again, it's kind of a blessing and a curse to be this way, because I am I can say that I feel like I'm a unique person. I think that's fairly I
Yeah,
don't
but
think,
unique,
I
but
don't think
unique
I'm
in the
bragging.
world. Everyone is unique.
Yeah, unique is a way to say it without feeling like I'm bragging or anything like that. But again, that's a blessing and a curse, because there are some things in this world that I'm just not good at and that I can't do the way other people can do. But not many people teach themselves Chinese by themselves. Not many people learn the way I do. But that's why I became a good teacher. Actually, the truth is that when I was a student, it was very difficult for me to learn in school. I didn't do great. I wasn't terrible, but I didn't do great because, again, the same problem. In school, I had to try to do it the way everyone did it, and that doesn't work for me.
Yeah, you have to follow all the rules.
Right. But when I
Yeah.
got out of school and then I started teaching myself, and then I learned that I can learn, I just can't do it their way. And so then I discovered how I learn, and I started teaching drumming. And then I started paying more attention to how every student learns. Every individual student is different, and they all have a different way, and they all have a different mind. And I paid attention to that. And I didn't even know I was paying attention to it at the time. I didn't even know. But because it was difficult for me as a student, it made me think about how we learn more. And that made me the teacher that I am now.
Yeah, yeah. And I said, "That's Derek. I like your Chinese English so much."
No, your English is great.
Chinese. Okay.
No, he just
Thank
mean,
you for your-
he just means that you have a Chinese accent, but you speak really well. That's all he's saying.
Okay.
Yeah, I know he means it as a compliment. Yeah. So anyway,
Okay, no problem.
Xiaofeng, I'm going to let you go because it's getting late. I've been here for 3.5 hours, everyone. 3.5 hours. Wow. I need to take a
Yeah,
break.
it's a long communication.
Yeah.
I would like to give you a big gift.
Oh, no, that's okay. Well, you can give one if you want to.
Okay.
So, Xiaofeng, thank you, and I'll see you next time, okay?
Okay.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah, thank you. See you. Bye bye.
Oh. Anyway. Yeah, thank you. There's my YouTube channel, everybody. If you guys want to follow my YouTube channel, there's my YouTube channel. Okay. Okay. I am tired and I'm hungry, guys. Okay, one more. Let me talk to Nazma from Bangladesh. One more. Let's make it kind of quick, though, okay? I hope. Nazma? Hello, Nazma. How are you? Nice to see you.
I'm also good. And how are you?
I'm tired, but I'm okay. I'm ready for a break soon.
Thank you for giving me the chance to talk with you.
You're welcome.
Actually, I am new person to use this app. Yeah.
Okay. And did you have a question for me? Okay.
And I'm
Uh-oh.
I need to speaking
There we go. Now try again. You need to speak what? There we go. Now try again.
and because I also have another module like speaking. Examiner asks me different type of question and I answer them properly. This question properly, and that's why I talk this group, and I think it's a great opportunity for me.
Nazma, I think I understood what you said, but the connection is pretty bad. It's kind of chopping in and out, so it's a little hard to understand you there. I know you're in Bangladesh. What city are you in Bangladesh?
In Dhaka.
In Dhaka. Okay. All right. Well, now it's a little bit better. The connection's a little bit better now. So you just
Yeah,
need more
it's
practice
maybe.
speaking.
Sorry?
You just want more practice speaking.
Yes.
Okay. Well, then you need to make a plan. Make a plan for how you can practice
Yes.
speaking and think about, don't give yourself
Yes.
any excuses. You need to find as many ways to practice speaking as you possibly can. If you just say, well, I'm going to try to talk to people on Hello Talk, that's not enough. You need to make a bigger plan and go to my YouTube page and follow my YouTube page. There are some videos on my YouTube page. And I talk about
And
the four,
what's name your YouTube page?
if you search for the letters AFIEC, AFIEC. Yeah. Belen and Islam,
AFI.
they just put it right there.
Yeah, I see it. AFICEE. Okay,
AFIEC.
because it's
Yeah.
my honor. AFIECE.
It means
Okay,
it
after-
means a friend in every corner. A friend in every corner. Remember that and you'll remember the words or the letters. Okay? A friend in every corner. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
in
Thank you
every
guys for
corner.
sharing my channel.
It's a
I
group
appreciate
name.
that. So, but
Great
Nazma,
name.
I'm gonna do this. Go to my my YouTube page, and there is one video called "Teacher Mark's Essential English Tips." Watch that one. It's the most popular video on my channel. Watch that one. It's a long one, but it has a lot of good tips for you about English, and it has my speaking plan in it. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So it was great to talk to you, and I'm gonna
Okay.
I'm gonna see you next time. Okay.
Okay.
Take
Okay,
care.
Allah Hafiz.
Bye bye. Oh man, guys, it's been a while. I've been here for a long time. And I forgot I'm over here at YouTube. I'm sorry, guys. I've kind of ignored you for a little bit. I'm sorry. I don't know if I'm going back to Taiwan or not. It just depends on, how life goes. Yeah. Let's see. You don't know if jazz music has many views, then it becomes pop. Alex, it kind of works that way a little bit, but not entirely. I think the biggest difference between pop music and jazz music is really that it's the mindset of who's writing the music at the time when they write it. So I think that pop music is written mostly from the idea of what can I do to make them happy? What can I do to make everybody happy? But other music is written from what can I do to make me express myself? And whatever they feel is what they feel. You like it, maybe not, whatever. Okay, so it's really a standpoint of that. Now, can that music become popular? Yes. Yeah, and that's where things get a little, it's art. It's always a little hard to describe these things in that way. Is it pop or is it art? Is it, that's an argument that has gone on for a long time. Okay? Yes, I need to go have lunch. I've been here for almost 4 hours now. I do this every time. I think I'm going to be on for a short time and then it's a long time. But thank you, Belen. Will I have a voice room? Probably. I think I will later today. Yeah, I think I'll have a voice room later today. Let me check my schedule. Hold on. I need to see when do I have lessons today. Yes, I should have time for a voice room later today. Okay? So take a look and keep your eyes open and your ears open for my voice room later. Okay? if I'm not too tired, which I might be because I barely slept last night. So if I'm not here later, it's probably because I needed to sleep or take a rest. Okay, guys? So, Lover Soul, you came to the right place, but you're just too late. Okay? About 63,000 people follow me. So follow me and come back and see me again. Okay? And plenty of English tips here. All right? Okay. And again, thank you guys for watching and listening to me talk. I appreciate it. Have a good morning, have a good afternoon, have a good evening wherever you are in the world. Oh, look who's there. Hello, Gila. Hello. And Ahab, if you're there too. I'm just checking out my audience, who's in the audience. So anyway, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. I will see you guys later or tomorrow, depending on how tired I am, okay? Thank you, Bellin. I'll see you. Bye, everybody.